Today, I'm out here in Los Angeles, USA with Owen Cook.
The real technique is you have to want to break out of the jail.
One of the world's pioneers in social dynamics, an expert in public speaking and communication skills.
You're not this loser. You're not this lazy mother. You're not this guy that has to whack off and off in your keyboard. That's not you. So wake up.
Over the years, him and his team have taught live events in over 265 cities and 75 countries.
Nothing is stopping them from getting their perfect 10 girlfriend right now. It's not, oh, when I get a million, I get my girl. When I get better looking, I get my girl. No, you get your girl in the next 2 minutes. It can happen.
They've coached politicians, celebrities, sports athletes, over 100,000 people face-to-face and millions online.
I don't want to convince a girl to like me. I want to date a girl who likes what I have to offer. So remember Bhagavad Gita, you don't have the right to the result of the action. You only have the right to the action itself.
Welcome to Iron Man Lifestyle, Owen.
Thank you, bro.
It's been a dream of mine to just sit with you and just talk about these things with you that I've been seeing you, for over a decade. Firstly, I'm very curious. Like, I haven't seen you doing a lot of podcasts in a while. What made you sit down with me? Why do you choose to do that?
We just had fun. You know, this is so bad, but I'm like an elitist for people that take action and go out. So because you'll go out with me, I like you.
Okay.
That's literally all it is.
Literally
if somebody will just go out with me, it's like if someone won't break bread with me, I feel uncomfortable. If somebody will go out with me and, hit the club and have fun, then if we have a good time, then I'm happy.
Yeah. I saw you do public speaking live. And that's the first time I saw you do it. And it was epic. And it was never a moment where I felt bored or disconnected. As soon as you came in, the energy just took over. My sleep went away. And I just kept on laughing and I was enjoying. How were you able to do that?
Okay, so I'm going to try to put this in a framework that anybody at home could benefit.
Yes.
Because I think that you're also somebody who can do this, okay?
Yep.
So you're somebody who, we sat down and did a live broadcast for my channel, and you were one of the few people I've ever seen in my life that could do all the exact same thing. So even though you're complimenting me, you're able to do the exact same thing too. So everything, you're really just asking, how do you do this shit? Am I allowed to swear here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, basically what you're asking is like, how do you do the shit that I can do? Okay, because you could do this too. Okay, so you could do this 100% as well. Okay, so there's there's no question that you're doing this, and we've taught a lot of the best public speakers in the world. So a lot of the really, really sharp people that you see on YouTube and social media are old school clients of ours or people that we've taught, and you have that same thing, right? It's there was an old rap group called NWA, and so Eazy-E was one of my heroes, right? A lot of things they say I don't agree with, but nonetheless, they were pioneers in gangster rap, and so you saw this sort of NWA tree, and there was so many amazing people that came from that West Coast tree, and we've seen that in our organization as well. Just a lot of amazing speakers. So the thing is that there's very specific insights that most people just never take the time to think about that will allow you to do this, okay? Now, here's what I would basically say. First of all, you've got to tap into something that you actually give a shit about, okay? So the areas that I talk about, I'm passionate about it because I give a shit. Like, even as I'm sitting here thinking about what we're going to share with your audience, I'm imagining in my mind somebody I'm thinking who it is that I'm talking to directly, and I'm just starting to formulate it as you're asking me the question, okay? And I'm imagining somebody at home, maybe back in India, right? Yeah. Maybe they live in Mumbai. Maybe I'm probably mispronouncing this, okay? But my favorite movies are Bahubali and Triple R, so I'm not totally ignorant. But they actually are my favorite movies. But the point is like, they're at home, maybe in New Delhi, maybe in Mumbai. Did I pronounce that properly?
Yeah.
Okay, they're there, right? Maybe they are struggling with communication, right? There's a lot of different social dynamics that are happening in India, what they're dealing with. And then I'm thinking to myself, maybe they struggle with communication. What do they deal with? And I'm imagining that in my mind. Yeah. And then I'm imagining their pain. Now, you told me that, is it called the CAST system or CASE system?
CAST system.
The CAST system? Okay. So you told me that doesn't really exist as much anymore.
No,
right?
It doesn't.
Okay, but there's probably still some lingering pain from that system, okay? We have that here in America too. There was slavery. Yep. And even though we don't have slavery anymore, there's still existing pain from slavery, okay? True. So the thing is that, I'm imagining somebody who has the pain of maybe being lower in the cost, the case, the cost. Yeah. I'm imagining somebody who maybe read the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Somebody who is maybe who likes a meditation and maybe is very spiritual, but they're not getting the social results they want, or they're not able to make the money that they want. Right. I'm imagining somebody who lives in India, and that you guys are going to be like running the whole planet soon enough, especially with America, where our politics are going, right? So, soon enough. Yeah. And you guys are on the up and up, but at the same time, I also know that a lot of people in India are very, very poor. And I understand that too, although some are very rich. Yeah. So I'm imagining that. So I'm going into my mind, and then I'm thinking about the pain of the person who it is that I'm talking to at home. And I'm thinking, what could I do to help them? Yeah. And the more that I can imagine their pain and my discomfort with their pain, the better of a job that I can do here to communicate with you. Yeah. Now, if I don't care about their pain, and I'm just not thinking about it, and maybe I'm just thinking about myself or whatever else, then when you're talking to me, rather than me having passion for what it is that I'm saying, my energy is going to go down. and there's going to be less of a human element in there, okay? And I'll be like, yeah, okay, well, hey, bro, you know, do this or do that, right? It's not going to be as passionate. But if I can think about that guy suffering and the fact that I'm not okay with that guy suffering, or, you know, ultimately, like, I can't control everything, but I can contribute something small, and if I can focus on that, that will begin to energize me. So that's what I'm always thinking about, is who it is that I'm talking to. Now, you know, on the other hand, if I was talking to, say, a business owner, he wants to make money, you know, even if it's not him in pain, maybe he wants to make more money. That's a legitimate thing to want to make more money. So maybe I'm thinking how to help him make more money. If I'm thinking of a woman that I'd want to date, that I'm thinking thoughts like she's bored, she wants to meet a guy who's fun, a guy who's confident, and then I kind of speak into that. If I'm talking to somebody who's depressed, I speak into that. It doesn't matter who I'm speaking to. The first layer is I think to myself, well, who am I speaking to? Cool. Now, the next thing is that I'm a huge fan of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. So, you know,
we've got it right there.
Right over there, okay? So I love the Tao Te Ching, I love the Bhagavad Gita, and I love the Bible. And I love the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. But the Bhagavad Gita really, really changed my life. By teaching, we have to focus on the process. We only have the right to the process and the action itself, not the fruit of the action. So as I'm sitting here, one part of me is thinking about the pain or the concerns or the ambitions or dreams of somebody who's watching back in India. And then another thing I'm doing is I'm trying to be present to the moment and just enjoy the process itself. Like, even as we're speaking now, I feel it's like, you know, we're kind of talking across from each other a little bit, and we're kind of trying to make it good and like make it like look a certain way. And the more that we can get silly or ridiculous or be idiots, right? Like, just be a bunch of idiots and be playful and have fun with it and get present with it, with that underlying driver that we care about the people at home, that's going to bring a lot of great presentation. And then there's the techniques on top of that, but that would be the foundation of it.
So it's basically you thinking about the people
and feeling it
and
actively being empathetic to
and being present with it. But then there's a lot of things about your voice and your energy and how you're able to go on and how you're able to project that voice, which are a bit more practical. Could you touch on those topics for me?
And I want to go there. In fact, I was going to. I just want to give you a chance to talk. I can talk this whole thing. Wanting to be a podcast, I'll just be talking. Okay, so that's the underlying foundation of it, which is basically I'm envisioning the pain, I'm being present with it, and that's driving me to see what's going to come out. So that's going to make it connect, and that's what's going to make it human, okay? Right. And I have to get out of my own way. And it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about that person at home and what they're going to get from it, okay? So that's the underlying foundation, because I can show you the technique, but without that, it's just somebody who's soulless, you know, or maybe who needs an outcome, like the Bhagavad Gita would teach against, rather than being, you know, in the moment. Even the movie, just to jump in, movies like Triple R, or movies like Bhagavad that are some of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movies.
They're epic.
They're so epic, right? And people in America don't even know about them, right? And we watch them we have got a big movie theater here, and we watch them and we laugh and we bring friends over and watch these things. And the thing is, like, that was created, in my view, from joy. Like, think about the scene with, like, where they're doing all the dancing in Triple R, where like the Indian guys are dancing with the white girls, and they're having so much fun. You can't replicate that. Like you know, that's a you can't make that from a technique. You have to really be having fun. You have to really want to engage the audience. It comes from sincerity or authenticity. Okay. Now that's the basis: is authenticity, caring, giving a shit, being present, having only the action and the joy of the dance in mind, not just the outcome of the action. Okay. And there's a tension between wanting to help but being very, very present, and then kind of pulling that tension, okay? Now, that's cool, very theoretical, a bit abstract. Now, let's go technique, okay? The first one that I'm going to show is vocal projection. Now, unfortunately, what happens at home, if you're at home, you're watching this, the microphone caps how loud we can get, okay? So, like, you could have someone who's just talking very quiet. Like, right now, if I just talk like that, it probably doesn't sound that much different. I'm going to go, eh! Like, that's the microphone will adjust and make it sound the same, okay? But in a room, I will often speak to up to 500 people without, I'll have a mic connected to the camera to record it, but the mic is not connected to any speakers. Even if I have speakers, I might use them on the last day, but I will bounce my voice off the walls like an opera singer. So that's why in my videos, like, you'll see me like really using a lot of power in the videos. You know, a lot of public speakers are kind of like, hey, like more like, say, a Jordan Peterson. Hey, how's it going? You know, so on and so forth. But I like to be what's called a pure form, or what I call in my mind, a pure form traditional orator, okay? So say back in, you know, way back in the day in Greece, when, you know, at the beginning of democracy and things like that, if they're presenting their case, you know, to a couple hundred people, they would have to know how to communicate without speakers. So and it's also because I like to teach social skills, like going out to parties, going out to clubs. So I do it for that reason as well, because at a party or club, you don't have speakers, you don't have a mic. So I do it for that reason too. So I do it for that reason, but I also believe that people have to learn to project, because honestly, if you go out to say a party or a bar or a club or even somewhere in the day that a lot of people are having fun, it's the person who is the most free who's going to get the most attention.
Yep.
That's my experience, right? So we have this weight on us, okay? A lot of weight. And, you know, in China, I think a lot of that weight also comes from a lot of the collectivism, even in Japan as well.
Yep.
And to some extent in India as well. Like here in America, it's more about individualism. In the East, it's a little bit more about collectivism. And I think America could learn a lot from the East, which I have. And then also, and we need that for things like Eastern philosophy. You know, Alan Watts brought that back here back in the 70s.
Yep.
But also, Bruce Lee. But also, I think that the East could learn a lot from America in terms of individualism, okay? So if you're just like, okay, well, you know, I'm just part of like this like larger social order, and I have to kind of like keep my head down, and I can't be a big winner. Here in America, okay, in Canada a little bit, we don't fuck around with that shit, okay? It's like we're going to the top, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, so we walk into any environment, we're loud, we're obnoxious, and again, I know that might not sit well in the East, but I'm just sharing a little bit of Western from the West.
Yeah.
Loud, obnoxious, having fun. You know, maybe there's someone there who you're very attracted to. You're going to go talk to them. You're going to go on a date with them. No question, okay? No question, okay? You're not like, oh, it's them. I'm scared. No. None of that, okay? It's like, you know that like you feel good about yourself. You love yourself. You want to share that with the world. You know that you have a gift. You know that you could be a multimillionaire easily. It's not hard to become a multimillionaire. It's really not. People say, oh, it's hard to become a multimillionaire. No, it's not. It's hard to be fucking broke. Okay? Being broke is hard. Being rich is easy. Okay? Just put down TikTok for a minute. Stop looking at bullshit. Start studying some fucking marketing. Start studying some business. If people say, "Oh, it's hard to be poor," I'll look in their feed. Let's actually look and audit what the last 100 hours of content that they watched was. Was it about how to make money, or was it them having a diversion? Okay, what were they really doing? Let's look at their actions, what they're doing. Is it about making money, or is it about a diversion? Okay, so it's about having that self-esteem, that value that you love the world and you want to help the world, but you also want to help yourself too. And you're someone deserving of love and of respect and of success, and knowing that you're worth it, and also knowing that being broke is the most selfish thing in the world, because what being broke means is not that you weren't greedy. What being broke means is that you don't put most of your thinking into how to help other people. Because if you're thinking about how to help other people and what's actually of value to them, and then how to monetize that, and then how by getting money, you can actually make a better service and a better experience for those other people, right? That's called giving, okay? And you can get paid too, because you have to give to yourself as well. So part of communication is like, you're here, you're proud of yourself, you feel good about yourself, you've got something to offer, you know that you're cool, and so you're gonna make sure that you can be heard. You wanna be heard, right? You see someone that you're attracted to, you wanna talk to them, you wanna be heard. You know, you go up, you say hi, you wanna be heard. You're confident, you have something to share. If they're not into it, that's totally okay. Leave them alone, say have a great night, and move on. But some people will like it. And it's the same thing with this video. Some people will get the message, some won't. That's okay. We're just speaking to people that will get the message. The people who don't, that's okay. That's why there's a million channels and there's millions of people, and not everybody has to like totally resonate. That's fine. But you're speaking directly to the people who resonate, and you're like, look, if that person would like me and we would have a connection, I don't want to force a connection. I don't want to force a vibe that isn't there. But if there is a connection, if there is a vibe, I want them to have the chance to get to meet me. That's vocal projection. That's you actually being fucking heard. That's you out of that party. Like we had a huge party here. It was like a Dan Bilzerian kind of party, right? That we had to go in here in the Hollywood Hills.
That was wild.
Yeah, probably best party in all of Los Angeles on Saturday or Friday night. So, you know, if we're gonna have that party, it's like we want to have fun. And it's gonna be loud, and we want to project our voice, and we want to be heard. Okay. So the more that you want to be heard, people can feel that you want to be heard. They're like, this person likes themselves, and then they want me to hear them. They want me to engage with them. There's like an energy transfer between the people. So when I was just chatting with you guys at the end of the party, I just want you guys to have fun. Like I care about you guys. I love you guys. I care about you guys. I want you guys to have fun. I want you to hear my message. I have a message to share. So it's the projection and the caring, and then so it's caring about, let's review. Caring about the person who you're talking about and wanting to engage them, but not having like a need for them to like you, right? But caring about them, and then they can take it or not. That's up to them, but you're not forcing it. But you care a lot, and having active empathy, being present to the moment, and just allowing yourself to just channel the vibe and feel good, and whatever comes out, comes out. Again, I go to bars and clubs all the time. I have a very active social life, active dating life, and I'm not thinking what I'm going to say. Just whatever comes out, comes out. We're having fun. It is what it is. I'll be respectful, but we're having fun, okay? And then from there, vocal projection, which is a natural building block on top of that, that people can hear you because you want to be heard. You care about them. You're present in the moment, so you're not, because when you're not present in the moment, you're stuck inside your head. It's like you're like thinking too much, and then your voice starts to tighten up, and you can't project your voice, and you get nervous, right? But when you're free and just present, your voice will open up, and then people can hear you, and that will also make you get heard. Now, if you want to add a touch onto that, but I'd like to get more of your questions, you can use shift in cadence, right? Right? You can shift your cadence. You could do stretch, shotgun, so you go, hey, how are you? Or you could go, hey, how are you? Right? You can shift it. So shotgun, staccato. You can look at things like the tone of like talking up or talking down, things like that.
What
so you can
staccato?
play it like an instrument. Staccato would be like if I'm talking like this. Stretch would be if I'm talking like this. And you play it, and it's an instrument. You can tighten it, you can lengthen it. So now you have projection, you have energy, you have active empathy, you're present to the moment, right? In my belief, we channel God by being present to the moment. That's what's so important about the Bhagavad Gita. We connect to God by being present to the moment. We summon the Spirit of God to act through us when we get present to the moment, which is contagious, and people are drawn to that because people are drawn to God's creation. And we're not God, but we are, a creation of God, and we can channel that energy by being present to the moment. That's why it's so important. So when you're doing this, people get addicted on it. And again, like I will always be fully myself, which means as a result of that, I'm going to connect very, very deeply with the people who the message is meant for, and then it's going to quickly push away the people that the message is not meant for. Like there'll be people watching this now that are like, oh, finally someone's sharing this message. I've been waiting to hear this message my whole life. And there'll be other people that are like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. This doesn't help me. This is stupid. Why is this even a thing? Why do people watch this? And that's when you know you're winning, because if everybody likes it, you've had to dumb it down like a politician. I'm not trying to be a politician and get the center of the left and the right to vote for me. I'm looking for the people that really, really like what I do. Like, say that I'm dating a girl. I don't want to convince a girl to like me. I want to date a girl who likes what I have to offer, who thinks I'm cool. I don't want to have to alter myself so that she thinks that I'm cool. I want to meet a girl who thinks that I'm cool, right? Like us talking, we get along well. Well, guess what? I want to be around people like you. I don't want to be around people that are like, oh, this sucks. I want to let them be around the people that they're meant to be around. I'm cool to talk to them if they want to talk, but I'm not trying to persuade them and have this need for their approval or their acceptance to know who I am. Because we know who we are through God by being present to the moment, by anchoring ourselves in the action, not in the fruit. Needing other people to like you is being addicted to the outcome. Right? Just loving the joy of the dance, that's a more spiritual place. That's a more powerful foundation to be coming from.
True. What do you say to people? Like, I've got clients, most of the time they come up to me and they're like, bro, I have a huge problem with vocal tonality. I cannot talk loud. Or they're like, girls can't hear me when I talk to them. Or like, whenever I talk to people, I'm scared. So why is that? And then they ask me for exercises. Like,
we'll do those.
I can't talk loud. So what do you say to those people?
Okay, so first of all, we got a lot of exercise. So we're happy to give that to you. Now, I'm going to give an unconventional take here. I always like to give something where you didn't hear this in any other self-help thing. So, if you want, I love Tony Robbins. I've been to almost every self-help seminar on the market. Okay, I don't care who it is. They're either my friends or I've been to their seminar or both. Okay, I love all personal growth seminars. So if you want me to give a standard personal growth seminar answer, I'll be like, you got to love yourself and know what your values are. And, something basic, right? So I want to give you something. I always like to give something that is more like a thought experiment, where it kind of throws a curveball at you. And I'm saying this. A lot of these things that I say, I don't really mean it. I'm saying it as more of a parable to make you think. Okay? So I'm going to say something that I don't really mean, but I kind of mean, but I don't fully mean, and I'm saying this to get you to think. Okay? So the thing that I'm going to say, and I'm going to say a lot of things like this today. Okay? So I like to make the audience think. Okay?
Let's go.
So this is not good content for people that can only take it to the surface. Okay? But for someone who can think a bit deeper, maybe it can help. So the thing that I like to say that's kind of unconventional is I say you need to be more negative. And you need to hate yourself more. Now, I just said to love yourself, right? So what is he saying here, right? But you got to start to hate yourself. And you got to be more negative, and you have to be more cynical and more pessimistic and hate yourself. Now, obviously, I don't really believe that, but I say that as a thought experiment to get you thinking. Okay, here's what I mean. So what I really believe is that people that are scared, they're not as negative as I am, okay? So in other words, I hate being broke, okay? I fucking hate being broke. I fucking hate not having a good dating life. Like, I don't know about you, but like, have you ever had it? Like, you have a lovely, lovely significant other right now. Amazing. I'm so proud of you, right? But can you imagine not having her And, how crass can I be here? Can I be very crass?
Yeah.
Okay, but this is an adult podcast?
Yeah, it's an adult podcast.
Imagine that instead of having your lovely partner,
Yeah.
you're just at home masturbating all day.
Yep.
Shooting cum all over your stomach. And, jerking off can be a little bit fun. But imagine, you're just jerking off to porn all day, imagining the love of your life, stomach's covered in cum, keyboard is just covered in cum. And it's like no matter how many times you masturbate, you're just covered in your own cum and angry. Okay? Yeah. And I hate that. Okay? I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys, they don't hate it enough. They don't fucking hate it enough. They're just like, well, it's not that bad, right? And then they smoke weed, they eat processed food, they work a shitty job, and they make themselves fucking numb. So the very first thing you have to do is, if you're scared, bro, it's because you don't fucking hate it enough. I'm not scared at all, because what I'm scared of is being covered in my own cum with my keyboard getting broken and having to take it to the repair shop and knowing that the repair guy is going to know that there's crusted cum in the fucking keyboard and that he's going to go, oh, I know what this was. And I'm like, hey, it's dry, bro. Don't worry. You won't get pregnant from it, bro. And like that's what scares me. Being lonely, having to hug my pillow, being broke, eating shitty processed foods because I can't afford good food, living in some shitty fucking house. I hate that. That scares me. That scares the fuck out of me, bro. And I came up broke. I look like this because I came up fucking broke. Fuck that. You gotta start to hate that shit, okay? Hate it. Hate it. And then what'll happen is when you hate it, then you're motivated not to be in that spot. Likewise, you gotta start to have more limiting beliefs. Like, bro, if you think that you could be scared to go talk to somebody, man, you must have a lot of confidence in yourself, bro. You're actually a pretty confident motherfucker.
Yep.
If you believe that you could just be afraid to talk to people, man, you must be fucking more confident than me, because I'm not confident. I think that if I allowed myself to be afraid to go talk to people, if I allowed that to fucking happen, then my life would be shit. And I'm terrified of that. Look, if I put like a sword up at your neck and I was like, look, you got to go talk or you're going to die, you wouldn't be afraid anymore, right? No. Because so you care more about talking to someone than the sword at your neck. Yeah. I believe there is a sword at my neck. I believe that if I don't go talk to people, that I won't get the networking connections, peer groups that I need. Look, just talking to you this week. Yeah. Let me say something, okay? I want you to listen to me carefully, okay? Just meeting you this week made me $20 or $30 million over the course of my career. No question. Does that shock you?
Yeah, I mean, how?
It shouldn't fucking shock you, bro. Do you really believe that by meeting you, I'm not going to make $20 or $30 million extra over the course of a 30-year career? Are you saying that meeting you, I can't make an extra $1 million fucking dollars over the course? I can't make $1 million a year extra to my business. Maybe I won't pocket it because I'll put it back in my business. I like to cycle it back in my business. But I wouldn't make $1 million extra from having met you. I could literally sit here and make this whole podcast just from hanging out with you. All the things that I fucking learned. Because I'm a very appreciative person. Thank you, bro, for meeting me, man. Okay? Okay? Thank you. Okay? And I'm not just sitting here talking shit. I'm here as I'm going to talk shit here. I'm talking a lot of shit. Yeah. But I'm in my regular life, I don't just talk shit like here. I'm an active listener. I want to learn from you. I want to see your vibe, your energy, how you think. You've already told me a lot of things about YouTube that I'm taking note of. Sometimes, too, it's not just that you told me some secret trick. It's the person who said it to you, the person who connected with you, the person who was able to get it in your head. Yeah. You were the guy that was able to get that into my head, okay? So you were the guy who was able to get that in my head. Maybe some of my other friends that have big YouTube channels could also got in my head, but somehow you did. Maybe because you went out with me. I just like guys that will go out with me. Nobody wants to go out. They don't want to leave their fucking house. Bro, I want to be in nature. I want to go out. I want to have fun. Fuck staying at home. Fuck staying at home. Like that's how I am, okay? Yeah. I want to do, if we're staying at home, we're doing a party, we're having fun, we're doing a podcast. Yeah. I'm not sitting here crying and masturbating my keyboard and crying at my fucking life. I'm going out. So I want to go out. I want to have fun. I want to learn from my friends. Yeah. So I know that if I don't meet someone like you, it's going to fuck my life up. That's what scares me, bro. People say they're scared. They need to get they're too confident. They're like, oh, my life will be okay. No, your life's not going to be okay, bro. Your life's not going to be okay. Okay, having cum all over you, being lonely, being broke, being ruined, having your life shit, that's not okay. So, okay, and so understand, we could all be spiritual. Look, I'm an avid meditator. Yeah. Look, I was in a wheelchair for 4 months. I've only been walking for the past 2-3 weeks. Yeah. Okay? When I was in that wheelchair, I didn't know if I'd ever walk in. I had a ski accident, okay? I love skiing, and I'll ski again. But I got in that wheelchair. I still went out. I went out to the club. I still did parties. I still had an active, very, very active dating life. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of amazing people who I dated during that time. We'd be in bed, like I had like a piss bottle. I had to piss in a piss bottle, bro. You know, in this fucking wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'd be like, baby, I'd have to piss in the bottle. Go, baby, could you please throw out the piss? You know, maybe someone who you just met, baby, please throw out the piss. Like that was my life, bro. But even when I was in a wheelchair, I accepted maybe I'll never walk again.
Yeah.
If I know that I can never walk again, I'll become very present to the moment. I'll meditate. I'll be at peace. When I was in that ambulance in excruciating pain, I took minimal painkillers. I stayed in a good mood, and I'm not going to let that ruin my day. Just, hey, bro, just because you broke your leg, because I have more metal in my leg now than fucking bone at this point. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is like, just because you got hurt doesn't mean you can't have a great day. It hurts, but it's still a day of your life.
Yeah.
It's a day of your life you'll never forget. So if I'm in a position that I can't control something, then I will meditate, I will accept it, I will be present, and I will use that pain to deepen me being present to the moment, like what they teach in Bhagavad Gita.
Yep.
Okay? So if that's where you're at, and like you really have no control, and you're really just a fucking idiot, and you're really just so stupid that there's nothing that you could do to fix your life. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing. You're fucked. That's it. You're just that dumb. You're just you're that 1 in a billion people that has no control, no agency. You're not at the cause of your life. You're just at the effect. You're just a fucking loser. Then fine. Be present with it. Accept your fate. Because, bro, someday I'll be 85 years old if I live that long.
Yeah.
And I'll meditate. And that'll be my life. Okay? And I meditate now. But we're young now, bro. We have vitality. We have life. We have joy. We have expansion. I want to, I've drove the whole country, bro. I've driven this whole country several times. I've been to every national park, every scale, every club, every fucking restaurant, bro. Had a fun dating life. Met my celebrity man crushes and female crushes, right? I've built a business. I've got 3 children. I bring my kids with me everywhere. My kids are with me all the time. I want to live, man. I want to fucking live. It's short, bro. It's short. Don't you want to live? So it's like, what are you afraid of, bro? Yeah. Live. Be afraid of death. Most people are dead by 30 spiritually. Their body is a walking corpse that just walks around and goes, oh, here, going to work, going to smoke my weed, going to masturbate, going to do what I'm going to do. Fuck that, bro. Okay? Like, if you truly have no control because you're 85, fine. Sit on the park bench. Meditate. Reflect on your life. Beautiful. Some people in India, I think they do that, right? In the last part of their life, they just kind of go into spirituality. That's beautiful. I would love to do that. Yeah. I'd love for you to find me on the streets at 82 in some rags, just present, like just in the now, getting ready for the next dimension, right? And that could be my life. And then, you'd see me now in a big yellow jacket yelling, and they'd go, oh, he's so different. He's older. I'd just be in the zone. I saw Ram Dass before. You know who Ram Dass is? Yeah. I met him before he died. I met Eckhart Tolle. And, Ram Dass, I came up to Ram, and he was in a wheelchair, and I started saying different things from his books that inspired me, and he just looked at me like I'm a fucking idiot, and he was like, "I love you," and he was in the zone, right? He's like, "I love you, so good to meet you," and I want to speak intellectually to him, but he was at the end of his life. He didn't care. About that. When I'm older, I'm not going to be. I hope I'm not going to be intellectual. Maybe I will be. Who knows, right? I'm kind of crazy, but I want to just be present. I want to be at peace. I want to be in non-resistance. I want to accept what's happening and just be so present and go on a spiritual journey deep inside myself, okay? And that's going to be so cool. And I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. And that's for the end of your life, bro. That's the end of your life. But it's not when you're 25, bro. Yeah. unless you're like a spiritual guru, and that's like, you were born as like that unique spiritual guru. You're in some village somewhere, and that's a gift that you've been given from God. Yeah. But if I don't have that like extra, I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not, a spiritual guru, right? Yeah. So I'm a regular guy. So I can learn from a spiritual guru, but I'm a regular guy. So I want to live my life. My spirituality is, being up in the mountains of Montana, being up in an airplane in Denali in Alaska with my kids, out in the ocean with my children, with whales going by, showing my children the world. Showing my son Tristan, who he was 4 years old. He said, "Daddy, I love whales." I said, "Let's go see a whale." Jumped in a plane, showed him a whale the next day. Yeah. That's how I want my kids to live their life, right? I want them to have joy, to have experiences. I want my viewers to have experience, the people who take my course to have experiences. Yeah. Think about all the experiences just from like this kind of philosophy that you would have had just in the past 10 years, just by taking in a little piece of this and how it changed your life. Well, people also changed my life. I have the people who changed my life. You've changed my life. We all change each other's lives, right? The viewers that are watching this changed my life by bringing this out of me and making me want to serve them. So enjoy your life. Fuck not being confident. Fuck being afraid. Fuck fear. Fuck fear. You should be afraid of dying before you die. You know what I'm saying? You should be afraid of your body being this emptied out fucking husk and not enjoying it. And bro, this is real. This is how I live. This is not some bullshit that I turn on and then I just go back and I just jerk off in my basement, okay? Like, not that I'm opposed to that. You know, could always have a good jerk. But I'm just making the point, like I'm not a no-fapper, but I'm making the point, like, that's not all that I do, right? I live like this. I want to have fun. Stop being afraid. Be afraid of what you're going to miss out on. This is your life, bro. Wake the fuck up. That's what I would say to somebody that has fear. There's no technique, bro. It's not a technique like wiggity waggity woo. The fear is gone, bro. Or hypnosis. I mean, that could be cool too. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like it's a way of being. It's who you are. It's your joy, your passion, your desire to serve, your desire to add value, loving yourself, loving other people, going to see them. Like this is how I go out. This is how I think about social confidence and public speaking.
That was crazy.
And this won't be for everybody. Right?
I know.
There's people. This will be over people's heads.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
You
know why?
Because
there's a million people who can go, oh, here, do this or say this, and I have courses like that too.
Yeah.
But I want to show something that you can't get somewhere else. You know, so like, you know, if you want me to show you the basics, like step 1, do this, or step 2, do that, we can do that.
Yeah.
I've got friends that are coaches that do that, but I want to show you something unique to my experience.
Yeah.
I want to give your audience something a little bit different.
True. So now about communication and like charisma when we talk about, or like social skills we talk about, one very big limiting belief or like one hindrance that people have is that I don't have the money, or I'm not tall enough, or I'm not good looking, or I don't have the 6-pack abs.
Yeah.
And when we teach people about confidence, that's the first thing we get them to do. We get them to hit the gym and we get them to dress well. Because I feel like Indians are anyway coming from a deficit. They don't have general social skills that are built in the West because the culture is a bit different.
Yep.
So it becomes a culture shock.
That's why they got to go meet up with you.
Yeah.
If they don't have the fucking social skill, stop not having the social skill and go meet you in fucking person.
Yeah. But then at the same time, you're completely opposed to that. And
100%.
And you're very passionate about whenever you talk about that. So why is that? Like break it down.
Here's why. Because, okay, there's a book called Levels of Energy by Fred Dawson. Okay? Amazing book.
Yeah.
Levels of Energy, Frederick Dawson. Now, any book that I recommend doesn't mean I have to agree with all of it. Okay? He talks about space aliens and angels. I'm not saying it didn't happen. But I'm not just, you know, don't be like thinking I believe that by default.
Yeah.
Who knows? The world's a crazy place. So what he talks about is that there's a different message for every single person at a different level of energy. Okay, so one of the lowest levels of energy is and there's another book called Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins. Yeah. Same idea. I actually am a little bit partial to the Fred Dawson levels of energy, but I like Power versus Force a lot too. Yeah. And again, you don't have to agree with everything in it. Okay, so the thing is that what he would say is that there's a different message for every single different person, okay? So like a lot of the way that I communicate is energetically. So what I'm saying is not as important as the energy that I'm coming from, but somebody who's not at a level of energy that they can receive that message, that's not going to connect with them, okay? Yeah. So somebody at a lower level of apathy, for them, they're below even depression. Right? They just don't want to do anything. So if you can just get them to go lift some weights or maybe improve their clothes, what that's going to show is they begin to give a shit. Okay? They're coming out of apathy. So if you're dealing with people that are in apathy, I think anything that shows sign of self-love or self-respect, I think is very, very powerful. Okay? Yep. Now, let's talk brass tacks, though, as far as dating. Okay? You're going to talk dating. Okay? Yep. So I live in a several million dollar mansion in the Hollywood Hills. You're sitting in it right now. Yep. Avicii used to live here. Tiesto has lived here. The guy who runs, what's that music thing in Vegas? The big celebration, EDC in Vegas has lived here. I picked this place to do parties, actually. I specifically picked this place to do parties, okay? So I live in a huge mansion, right? Now, I'm wearing, this watch is, you know, depending on the market, is anywhere from $70,000 to $140,000. I have a green dial Rolex Daytona, okay? Now, this watch here, okay, as a watch, or this house here, is not enough to have a successful dating life in Los Angeles.
Okay.
In and of itself.
Why is that?
Because I've got a big house with a nice, well, you can't see the view tonight because it's foggy out, but I've got a big house. But the women that I date have been to giant estates. They've been to estates, like, if you want to see real wealth, I mean, yeah, I'm like new money. Like I can buy a $100K watch, or you know, get a house worth a couple $1 million. By the way, with watches, you can resell them. You never really pay for it. Okay, yeah. They usually go up in value. Okay? Anybody like, oh, I paid $100,000 for a watch, you could just flip it and resell it. Watches usually will keep their value. Okay, so it's never as cool as it sounds. But anyway, the point being is, it's not like you've been out with me. Did any girl recognize what this watch was?
No,
even a single time.
I
you don't know what it is.
Don't know what it is.
Watch nerds know what it is. I do get approached because it's watched by men. I've had many guys come up to me, rich guys who I want to network with. So I like to wear bling to network with rich men. And you don't need that to network with rich men, because I've had clients that are billionaires or have a couple $100 million and they don't have a watch. Okay, so you don't have to do that, but it's a quick way. You know, if you've got a nice watch, you know, you're out, you see another guy who has a nice watch, you go, oh, cool, what'd you get? Oh, I got this dial, I got this. You can network a little bit. Same thing, you have a Lamborghini. You can actually go to like private events, like for people that bought Lamborghini, and you can network with other people that bought a Lambo. So these are more networking tools for clients, for rich men. But again, having social skills. I mean, I've done networking and had multi-million-dollar clients before I had a watch or a Lamborghini. Yep. So none of that really, you don't have to have it, but it's like a cool little thing to have if you want. Yep. But as far as your dating life, first of all, no girl knows what a watch is. Yep. Second of all, or they might know the most basic Rolex like Datejust or something, but they don't really know what it is. Second of all, it looks like you're compensating. Okay, it looks like you're trying to compensate and self-qualify. But here's another thing too. This house, the girls that I date have been to bigger houses. They've just been to bigger houses. Yeah. It does. And again, I've also done dating when I'm 22 years old, living in a hotel with 6 guys. I meet somebody special, and we'll just sit there in the bathroom joking around while 5 of my friends are in the other room on the floor, you know, and who knows what'll happen. Like that, and I just leave the sink running to cover the noise, you know? So, I've been having success. Like, I'm 44 now. I've run a business for many years, and I'm here to teach people how to make money. Yep. So anything that I say is just to try to piss you off, to try to get you to want to go make money. I'm saying that for that purpose. But they don't really understand what money is. And what they do understand is charisma. They understand social skills. But the reason that I don't like teaching guys for looks and money is no matter how much I lift weights, I will never be good looking enough to outcompete the men that have better genetics than I do. And I know that sounds bad, but you have to understand, you and I go out and we demolish these guys. Yep. We destroy these guys. You and I were out the other night and destroyed these guys. These guys were no competition. Every night that we go out, right? Because like you're sitting here, because here's the thing that you don't understand, okay? In your mind, you're like, I'm dressed cool. Look at this. What you don't understand is they don't know what that is, bro. Yeah. They don't know what the watch is. They don't know what the bling is. They don't know what's going on. They're emotional. So you will never be good looking enough that you're dating the women that you want from your looks. Yeah. I will never be good looking enough to date the woman that I want just from my looks. You will probably in your lifetime never be rich enough to compete with the richest guys here in LA. Okay, look, I've had it where I have like a small yacht in Miami, and girls come on it, and they go, this is boring. I was on a mega yacht earlier today if I don't entertain them. They get off. Yeah. Like, you could have a house worth like $5 million. They don't care. You could have a watch worth $100,000. They don't care. You could have a boat worth a couple million. They don't care. You could be very, 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 very fit. They don't care. Because are you going for the best? What are you going for? Yeah. Because if you're going for the best, they've seen the best. So you're never going to compete when you're competing from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're still, and here's the main key, okay? Because I know I'm losing your audience right now. They're getting mad. They don't believe me. I understand it. Don't worry about the fact that I've gone out 4 nights a week for 22 years. Don't worry about my dating history. Don't worry about his dating history. Don't worry what we've done. Just stick it. You know, my uncle hit the gym and he killed it, bro. Yeah. He met Nancy, but okay. But don't worry about the fact that we split test this for 22 years. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the fact that I teach courses where I'll take you out and show you right in front of you or posted videos showing this for decades, but don't worry about that. Don't worry that we created an industry showing this. Don't worry about that. I know you've got your opinion, okay? And that's okay. That's the cool thing about life. We can all have our opinion, okay? They call that the Dunning-Kruger effect. You can look that up. But anyway, so, okay, Dunning-Kruger, look that up. So what it is that if you're trying to date the most attractive women in the world, and you think that, like, if you're a male model, like you're a 6'4" male model, and that's gonna be your approach, like that's how you're gonna meet them, then yes. If you were born rich and you have an estate, you've got a giant estate, then yeah, throw parties, and that can be good enough. But 99% of the people that are watching this are never gonna be male models. They're not gonna be owning an estate. So at that point, they've got to extricate themselves from the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cycle. And they've got to become what I say is one of one. One of one. Okay? So remove yourself from being 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got to become one of one. So you've got to become something that there is no competition. Yep. There's no competition. Okay? So if you look at my presentation, how I'm talking to you, What I've done is I've alienated about 80% of your audience actively. I've made 80% of your audience go, who the fuck is this guy? Only because you know me. Yeah. Maybe they'll be open-minded, but if they didn't know me, they'd be like, this guy's loudmouth, he's fucking crazy. But you're going to see a small number of people. It'll be very small, but they're going to say, this guy's awesome. Where the fuck's he been all my life? That is who I'm looking to reach. Now, I'll tell you why. Because you're going to have people that will come on your podcast, okay? And they're going to dumb themselves down, and nobody's going to give a negative comment. Yeah. But nobody's going to buy from them. Because I am communicating authentically, I will penetrate and pierce their reality deeply enough that even if it's only 1 in 1,000 of your viewers, they're going to come pay me money and they're going to come be my clients. Because I was honest. Because I didn't hold back. Yep. Because I didn't go for everybody's approval. And I said, no, I don't care about them. Fuck all those people that we don't care about. I wish them the best. I'm not trying to, think bad of them. I wish them the best. Yep. I care about you. And I will be fully myself to help you. Yep. I will give 100% authenticity of who I am, warts and all, to you. I care about you and only you. So what I'm looking is, if that's the size of the audience, I'm trying to find that little sliver of people. I want to be fully who I am, 100%. Yep. 100%. And then from there, I want to connect with those people, because those are the people that are not just going to go, oh, nice meeting you. That was fun. Yeah, maybe they didn't reject you, but they didn't become your girlfriend. Yeah. I want to meet that girl who she thinks that my weird, quirky, unique personalities are such a breath of fresh air. She's like, finally, I'm sick of these like 6'4" rich guys with washboard abs. They think they're the shit. And the weird thing is that when you don't give a fuck and you place no value at all on these rich guys or these jack guys, okay, and look, I wish them the best. Many are my clients, okay? Yeah. I love everybody, but I'm just saying that, like, if you stop being addicted to their approval, then in a weird way, you almost make them look kind of dumb. You actually make them look like they're trying too hard. It's like, why can't you just have fun? Why can't you just be yourself? Like, why do you have to sit there all day miserable building this business that makes you hate your life instead of having fun? Yeah. Why do you have to sit there like just like literally like you can't even eat a fucking carb? Okay, look, if it's for health reasons to live longer, amazing. But if it's because of your vanity, unless you're a professional male model, why can't you eat a slice of pizza, bro? And if it's for health, then amazing. Or energy, then amazing. I don't really have trouble with energy. But this is me with no caffeine, okay? Yeah. But it's like, why can't you just have fun, bro? So what happens is, like, I'll get to a table, and this really happens, by the way. This happens all the time. And I'll be at a table. I'll get invited there by my promoter friends at a high-end club. And there'll be a dude there who's like, 6'4", full head of hair, super jacked. He's probably on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. And I'll go to his table, and that guy's super rich. And I sit down, and there's a lot of music going. So me being kind of loud really works there, and me having fun kind of works there. And I'm just being a bit of an idiot. I'm joking around. I'm having fun. I'm giving him a noogie. What's up, bro? We're having fun. And then all the attention goes on me. And that guy's sitting there at his table. He's like, I thought that if I just worked and hit the gym until I was like 50, that finally I'd have the money and a girl would like me. And then I just come in like an idiot having fun, and then I get all the attention. And that's what you'll understand, is that you've been living in what I call the control. And this all comes back to Bhagavad Gita, by the way. Yeah. They're living in the control muscle. They need to control everything rather than just letting go, release. Remember Bhagavad Gita. You don't have, it's paraphrase, you don't have the right to the result of the action. Yeah. You only have the right to the action itself. So fuck all this, like comparing yourself to other people, not think you have enough money. Look, make money. Look, I like money for me, for my children, for you, for my clients. I do free, think about this, okay? I do free events all over the world. I'm about to go do a free event leaving tomorrow, okay, to Chicago, okay? Yeah. So I do free, I literally do completely, you go to www.selfhelpfreetour.com. That's not me promoting anything, because it's fucking free. So you want a free event completely for free, selfhelpfreetour.com, go hit it up. Maybe the address will change in the future, look it up. Totally free events. I do free Zoom calls all the time. I spend millions a year on free events, free Zooms, free videos. We shoot beautifully, highly produced videos all over the world, outside, social skills videos, seminar videos. I record the free events. I put them out for free. I pay my staff a ton of money. I take my kids everywhere. I share. I love helping the world. But I care about money to do that, okay? I haven't been sick in 13 years because I like taking Eastern herbs. You guys have a beautiful tradition of Eastern herbs in India. If someone's from India watching this, they should actually embrace that. They should embrace their culture. Bahubali, baby. Triple R, baby. You know, Bhagavad Gita. Eastern herbs, beautiful, beautiful traditional herbs, spiritual systems. And these are not cheap all the time. Maybe in India they are, I don't know, but here they're not. And so, I like to invest in mentors. I take courses with mentors. I have a big house so I can host all my friends. I host parties. That's what money's for. I care about money so that I can give more to other people. And so, because you have to remember, you want to give to other people and not be selfish, but you also want to give to yourself, and you're someone who deserves to be given to as well. And you should hope that other people get rich. You should cheer for other people getting rich. If it's the wrong way, then no. But if it's adding value, then yes. And the thing is, and because they got rich because they added value to other human beings, okay? They added value to others, so people paid them for that. But you shouldn't care about money to get a girl, bro. Come on, bro. Like I said it to you the other day. I'm like, hey, how come you don't have a watch? You know what you said to me? You go, I am 10. I am 10, right? And even I felt like taking the watch off and throwing it out the thing, right? I am 10. And I said, no, bro, you're not 10. You're 1 and 1, baby. 1 and 1, baby. 1 and fucking 1, right? So when you sit down, and look, I don't train people to be me. I have my own quirky ways that I am. Maybe they're very chill. Like, because sometimes people say, I don't want to be high energy like Owen. No. Maybe they're chill. If you're chill, I want you to be chill. If you're high energy, I want you to be high energy. I want you to speak your truth and to be your truth and to say, fuck all this, like needing money, needing to look a certain way. Bro, you got to understand, you will never be good looking enough to get the highest quality women in the world unless you're a male model. You'll never be rich enough to just use money to get the highest level, level women in the world unless you just do it. Look, Dan Bilzerian is a friend of mine, okay? Dan is rich, but he deployed that money and used that money in a very specific way that most rich guys will never think to do it, okay? So he used that money a specific way, but guess what, bro? I've run parties just as expensive as Dan has run, maybe even more expensive, because I used to live with my old buddy Big Mike, and Big Mike, his business makes about $300 million a year, and he just thinks I'm cool. So he wound up inviting me to live with him because he just thinks I'm cool, and then we would run $1 million per party parties, and we were competing with the Playboy Mansion for best party in LA. Now, the party that we ran here was only $5 or $10 grand, and we do a great party like that too, but $1 million party is fun too. I'll maybe talk to you about the $1 million party later, but we'll go there, okay? But the point being is that do whatever you want, but like in the same way, I can meet someone at $1 million party, I can meet someone at a $10,000 party, I can meet somebody on the fucking street, I can meet somebody at the fucking grocery store, I can meet somebody at a bar or club, I can meet somebody when I'm in a different city, I can meet people anywhere, because at the end of the day, bro, be you. Be your fucking self. And you have to understand, the reason that I have high energy, I wasn't wired like this. I'm 44 years old. I got a gray beard. I'm getting older. The more that you be yourself, you get so much energy that your hands almost start shaking, and you need to discharge the energy, because so much energy is wasted by being someone you're not. Right? You're like, well, I need to get approval. Do they validate me? Do I have enough money? Am I good looking enough? And it kills your energy. It kills your humor. It kills your energy. Like my son Dylan could immediately be a public speaker with no training from me, because I love him so much. I love all my children so much that I give them so much love that they've never felt like they're not good enough. So I can bring my kids in front of a crowd, and they're better public speakers than anyone in the room as adults, because they haven't been ruined yet by all the looks and money shit. So when you're teaching looks and money, I love that you're teaching that for your audience, because there's people that are apathetic. They don't care about themselves, right? They don't care about themselves. So that will get them to care about themselves and stop being pathetic, and take some fucking action and get some momentum and to knock down some small wins. And that's great. And for that reason, I'm glad that you teach them to do that. As long as they understand that nothing, and I mean fucking nothing, is stopping them from getting their perfect 10 girlfriend right now. Nothing is stopping them. It's not, oh, when I get $1 million, I get my girl. When I get better looking, I get my girl. No, you get your girl in the next 2 minutes. It can happen. Won't happen automatically, but it can absolutely happen in the next 2 minutes if you would just start being yourself. And what would happen is when you stop caring what people think and operating from a paradigm of needing the outcome and go back to the Bhagavad Gita about embracing the joy of the dance, embracing the action itself, and finding your identity by being connected to God, then what would happen is you would stand out. You'd have so much energy. You'd be so different. You'll say this: some people might like you, some people might hate you, but they'll never have seen someone like you, because you're being truly yourself. And those people that can't be themselves are fucking cowards, okay? They're fucking cowards. And what I'd say to them, and I'm mean about it because I want change, fuck being a coward. Be yourself starting fucking now. And when you do that, what you're going to find is you're going to get present in the moment, and it will be like you're in the Bhagavad Gita. It's like a feeling almost like of enlightenment. I'm not saying I'm enlightened, I'm not. Okay, I got my petty moments, but I'm saying it's a feeling of enlightenment. You feel so good. You start joking around. You never run out of things to say. You're so confident. Look, you ever been in a bad mood? And this is horrible, and I try to avoid this. I know you try to avoid this. But you kind of almost want other people to be in a bad mood because you're in a bad mood. You ever do that dumb thing?
I mean,
I hope you haven't, but I have, okay?
Not consciously, though, but...
I didn't do it consciously either.
Yeah, but like unconsciously, I'm in a bad mood. You just do things that just puts everybody else
yes, yeah,
in
I'm not
a bad
proud
mood
of it.
as well.
I try to check it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm older
Yeah.
now, so I've done better with it. But I'm younger, I fuck up, right?
Yeah.
Maybe once a year I fuck up now. Once every 5 years, but I'm human, right? Well, in the same way, bro, when you're in a good, like, I love my life, bro. So I just want everyone at home watching this in India or wherever to be so happy. You know what I mean, right? I want them. I don't care if they make more money than me, date quote unquote better girls than me. Although what's better? You know what I mean? It just cares what you like. But I don't care what. It's not a competition, bro. It's just you being you being one of one. And when that happens, you have so much joy that you want other people to have joy, right? Like it's those people that hate on rich people or maybe hate on good-looking people that they have a hatred because they're in competition. We're not in competition. There's billions of people in the world. There's trillions of dollars of money in the world. There's money for everybody. There's people for everybody to meet. And if you would just be yourself and put that out there, you'll kill it. And then from there, take that, and we teach this to people as well, and I know you do too. Take that same attitude, make a YouTube channel, make a Instagram, make a TikTok. I know you don't have TikTok, and probably for the best, the Chinese Communist Party.
It's banned,
okay, but that's probably a good thing, Chinese Communist Party. But you know my point, right? Like, literally, like, put it out there on social media. What do you love? What are you passionate about? What drives you? What is it that when you talk about, like, I don't always talk like this. Like, if I'm just sitting there, you know, eating breakfast, I don't always talk like this. But when you ask me questions about things I care about, and then I start, and let's go back to the beginning of the video. I start thinking about your audience home, back in New Delhi, back in Mumbai, maybe some of my people that are watching this, right? And I think about that. Then I get present to the moment. I think about how to help them. I think about being part of the joy of the dance. I think I don't filter who I am. I'm okay that some people won't like it, and that's okay. But some people will think it's cool. And even if it's 5% of people that think it's cool, but I'm speaking right to them. I don't care. Look, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a fuck about the guy watching this who's like, look, I just want like one tip so I can keep being a loser, but maybe I could keep being shy and keep caring about approval and keep being lame and keep sucking, but maybe there's just like this one tip that's magic, that by magic I get all these girls and money and fame and I could just keep being shy and keep being a loser and he would just tell me the one thing. I don't care because he's never going to change. The tip doesn't exist. It's not fucking real. But there's maybe that one guy. I just care about just one that I would care about. If I could just find one guy in your whole audience who's like, fuck this, I want to be me. Fuck this, I want to be myself. Fuck this, I want to enjoy my life. Fuck this, I'm sick of caring about approval. Fuck this, I'm not my looks, I'm not my money, I'm me. I'm something deeper than that. Bhagavad fucking Gita, baby. Okay? And getting back to that core of, like, look, here in America, I would encourage people to look at people like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. Go back to your cultural roots. See the tradition that you came from. People from India are powerful. They're strong. They're courageous. They're populous, okay? There's a lot of them. They like to fuck, clearly. So, okay, there's a lot of fucking going on down there. So clearly, it's a powerful people. Go back to your culture. Go back to your spiritual roots. For me, okay, with Christianity, okay, there's so much power in the Sermon on the Mount. I go back to those roots, okay? My great-grandfather was a preacher, even in World War I and World War II. He actually snuck in and was preaching the gospel in World War I, World War II. And, you know, I'm not a preacher. I live a different lifestyle, but I resonate with that. Go back to who you are, back into the deepest roots of your soul. You're not this fucking loser. You're not this lazy motherfucker. You're not this guy that has to whack off and jerk off in your fucking keyboard. That's not you. So wake up. Is what I'd say. And I don't care about a bunch of people that want to just be entertained, hear a tip, and won't do shit. I care about that one guy, that one girl, that one whoever, okay, these days, who I don't care, whoever that person is, who's like, I want to change. I want to fucking change. I want something better for myself, and I love myself, and I want something better for the world. That's what I'm looking to connect with. And if you take that attitude towards dating, you're going to have it to where you're dating people who love you. They are inspired by you. They can't believe they met someone like you because you didn't dilute yourself to get the approval of a bunch of people that will never hook up with you, never do business with you, never do shit with you. Oh, you avoided their disapproval? Fuck them, okay? Wish them the best, but fuck their approval. You were you and connected with the people who love you.
So I get it. Like, it's exactly what I agree with. Just for, like, clarification.
So you don't agree with being fake?
No, I agree with it. I agree with it. I think it's fucking amazing. I believe it 100%. So, according to you, when does technique come into it? Because with social skills, it's still a lot of skills. When does that come in?
So you have to understand, I've done this 22 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also, I've got one more thing.
Yes.
Like with most of my clients, they're in the heads all the time.
I know.
Because they come from like STEM backgrounds, and for them, like getting into this state of passion is very difficult.
And they should, and that's why they should. But let's keep going.
And if I could just give them like one technique that gives them a vision of that and the validation.
Here's the technique. I'll give you technique, but before I say it, fuck your technique. Because what you're really saying is, how do they stay in their comfort zone? How do you stay in that comfort zone? I'm not here to help those people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not here to help someone to go, I don't want to have passion. I don't want to evolve. No, but honestly, I've taught 22 years.
Yeah.
Most people want to stay the same and stay in their little golden jail. They don't want to leave the jail.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave the jail entirely. They want to stay in the golden. If they want to stay, like, just let me stay in jail, and I'll get you some techniques, okay? You know, I'll give you techniques.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why you're asking.
I'm just asking when
I'll give you
does
technique.
it make sense?
I'll give you technique.
Yeah.
But before I get there, what I see, and I hate this, okay? Because when I was younger, bro, I cared about the fucking money. I cared that guy came and paid me to take my course. I no longer care. I'm 44. I never have to work a day for the rest of my life. I don't want to. Fuck these guys, okay? That's not my audience anymore. My old audience was whoever would take a course with me.
Yeah.
Look, I love these guys. I wish them the best. But when I say fuck them, I mean fuck me pandering to them, okay? So in other words, like if right now I could create a McDonald's that would poison people and I get paid, I'm not going to do it. I only want to do what will help people, okay? So I'll give technique, but before I give the technique, I want to be clear here that the real technique is you have to want to break out of the jail, okay? Look, I've coached guys that are billionaires, and literally, you would think that having $1 billion or more, or hundreds of millions, or even tens of millions, or even a few millions, still not bad. You'd think that these guys would be like these heroes, like it's like these heroic guys that accomplish this. They're just fucking dorks with more money in most cases. They don't even stand up for what's right in a lot of cases. They just toe the trendy line of the day. During things like 2020 lockdown, they wouldn't fight against the lockdown. They would just sit there going, oh, yeah, like whatever it is that they're supposed to say. Literally, as of recording this, finally Mark Zuckerberg admitted that he should not have been censoring people during the fucking lockdown.
Yeah.
But him, as part of one of the most important, powerful people in the world, he'll say that now that it's trendy. But he fucking knew back then what the truth was. But it took him 4 years to say it, okay? Me, when 2020 hit, I spoke my truth. And now that got me in trouble, but I spoke it. That is what having money is meant to be for. It's called fuck you money. In other words, you can be honest. A lot of these rich guys, they just want to stay in this fucking comfort zone. What do we even learn in the Gospels? Why does Jesus get put to death? Because he spoke his truth. But he wasn't afraid to do that. Stop being so focused on the physical body and what the physical body wants, and focus on the health of your soul. What does it matter if you got something in your physical body while you're alive, and then after you die, you go right to fucking hell or some negative incarnation?
Yep.
So focus on your soul. So that is why at age 44, I'm happy to give someone a technique, but if that technique is going to enable you, maybe you get more social success or get more money, and then you're just stuck there, and that's gonna entrap your soul in a negative incarnation or put you into hell, however you want to think about this, then what I would say is no, okay? No, because there's a lot of people I helped to get rich, and it didn't help them at all, if I'm going to be honest with you, okay?
Yeah.
It only hurt them. Now, let's keep going. Yeah. So I want you to think about this like you're in jail, okay? Right? Okay, if you can't just go up to someone and be yourself and create attraction, or if you can't just go up to someone and be yourself and do business with them and so on and so forth, that is because you are in a jail. You're psychologically in a jail. Because if you just be yourself, you'd find that 5 or 10% of people that resonate with you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't care anymore with the other people that don't resonate. I think you'd respect them. You wouldn't be mean to them or do anything bad. You would always, be cool to them. Yeah. But you wouldn't be worried about their approval. Yeah. You'd focus on the 5 or 10% of people that are your tribe. When you see me doing 1,000-person seminar, that's 1,000 people that like what it is that I do. There's another 100,000 that don't. That's okay. I care. I'm there to serve and speak directly to the people who do care because they support me. What do I care about some guy who doesn't like me thinks? Yeah. What do I care if I go to a club and someone doesn't want to go on a date with me? Why am I going to be worried about changing who I am? Yeah. Right? I'll be respectful to them and nice to them. If we don't hit it off, I'll say, great to meet you, and walk off in a nice way, but I'm not worried about them. I'm not stressing over them, okay? So understand that the best technique is no technique. I can walk up to someone without even talking, and I can generate chemistry. Yeah. So I'm almost there. Give me one second, okay? Yeah. Now, from there, what I would say is, but when someone says, give me the technique, they're in jail, And I'm like, hey, let's break you out of the jail. And they go, no, I want a waterbed in the jail. I want a golden bars in the jail. I want to look out to the outside world with these golden bars here. I want to have a golden plate to eat my jail food off of, right? Fuck that. Break out of the jail completely. Now, you want to talk technique. Here would be examples of technique that could help you, okay? So here's...
We'll get to the examples.
Okay.
But like, I'm asking, like, let's say there is one guy who's never been around a girl because he's never... he's from India. Let's say he's from a village.
Fuck him! Bro!
Yeah.
There's a billion fucking people. Get around someone.
Okay.
Whether it's a girl, a business connection. Bro, if you don't have respect enough for yourself to begin to take action, I got nothing for you, homie.
Yeah.
So what I'd say is begin that process. Now, if he doesn't know where to start with what I'm telling you. Start being your fucking self.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to know something, now, look, I can give you ways to start a conversation, but at the end of the day, bro, the word hi has been known for many, many years. It's not the best way to open, but you can say hi. You can wave. There's a million different ways to start a conversation. I can give you some, but the real success comes when you start being you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, but keep going.
So my context is that if you throw him into any social scenario, he will creep people out because himself is not even himself. Like,
it's not even himself.
It's not even himself.
Yes.
At the same time, if he were to even be himself, he's never been exposed to a situation like that. So, for example, if any white woman goes to India, there are a lot of these people just want to take selfies with her.
Yeah.
They're being themselves.
Yes.
But they're creeping around.
They're not being themselves. They're being losers. They're not a fucking loser. No grown man wants a fucking selfie with a white woman. That's not themselves. That is some weird entrainment that they've had in some weird submission narrative that's meant to keep them under control. So that is not who they are. But what you're saying, which I appreciate, and I think it's a beautiful transition that you made, and I appreciate what you said here, is that they'll think that's themselves.
Yeah,
I am the
they
loser
think that's themselves.
who wants to take the selfie with the white lady.
Yeah. So they think that's themselves because they've been entrapped in that trance and that is all they've seen.
Yeah.
But now that trap is become themselves. Like it's the ego, right?
Trap,
Yeah.
They believe they are the ego.
We believe we're the ego. So for them, how do you get that person out of it?
Sure. Okay. So here's what I would do.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to build social skills, what I recommend is that you go out about 3 or 4 nights a week at minimum. Okay. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but if you suck, you got to go out. You got to work on this. Okay.
I used to go out 5 nights a week for like 7, 8 years.
I go out 7 nights a week, but I'm just making the point that for, I don't want to freak people out. Okay. So 3 nights a week. Okay. But if this is an area of importance to you, then a lot. What you want to do is you want to go and engage with people. And here's what I'd recommend that you do. Okay. So say that you go out to like a bar or a club or a party. Okay. So let's say shape like a square.
Or even like, let's say you're going to a social scenario. Like that'd be better.
Any social scenario.
Yeah.
What I like, my personal preference is I like people where they've checked IDs. I want them to be ID. Do they check IDs in India?
Yeah.
I like it when they checked IDs.
Yeah, they do.
Okay? I want to be adults.
Just for context, let's keep it to during the, let's say, the daytime.
I'm not a fan of that because if you're working on social skills, I like it when I know I'm talking to an adult. I'm a big fan of that, okay? Now, that said, if I'm for sure someone's an adult, then I'll go talk to them if it's like clear as fucking day.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so if you want to do it in the daytime, that's fine.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't go to the clubs and the clubs...
I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, but the clubs only exist in like the urban areas, which would be like 5, 7 cities.
I think that if you want to work on your social skills, you should go where people are. Okay? It's like, well, how do I get jacked in the gym if there's no gym? So if this is important to you, I'd recommend you, okay? I'm going to say something that a lot of your viewers are going to disagree with. It's going to piss them off. They're going to make comments about it. I'm fine with that, okay?
Okay.
They're going to say, that's not true. I'm killing it in my little village when I talk to 2 people a year. And I'm going to go, cool, bro. Show me the Instagram of who you met and see if I'm impressed. And no offense, I know it's offensive, but I'm going to be real here. And then I'm going to say, like, show me your lifestyle. Show me who you're meeting. Show me how much progress you're making. My friend Ty Lopez, what I said? You got to learn faster. You're learning too slow. You're learning too fucking slow. I say, fuck all this, like, learning over like a year, 2 years. No, bro, learn today. Make it where by the end of the weekend you've had massive progress. And by the end of the next weekend you have massive progress. So my recommendation is go where there's a lot of people and you know that you're talking to an adult. That's my personal preference, okay? I avoid anybody who's partying too hard, and I just want to meet people that are adults and out, and they're there to socialize. Now, if there's somebody out in the daytime, clearly an adult, then you could go talk to them as well, okay? Now, from there, what I would say is go to a place where there's a lot of people. Because again, whatever skills that you build where there's a lot of people, you could apply that if you're just out of the grocery store. Okay? So let's say that it's like a square. Go interact with every single person there And after every single interaction, focus on minimizing the time in between to the next interaction. Yeah. Minimize down the time. So that if you go out for 3 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes of that was you talking to people. Yeah. So don't go more than 10 or 15 seconds without talking to the next person. Talk to guys, talk to girls, talk to everybody there, treat everybody equally, have fun with them, okay? It would be the next thing that you do. We focus on the positive of the interaction. So a joke that you might say is 1,000 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, who the fuck would have the balls to do that? I actually went and met someone new.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled by all those guys that came there with people. Maybe some guy came with 5 girls. He came with her. You actually had the courage to go start a new conversation with someone new and to create a new opportunity. Yeah. So go do that, okay? Then what will happen is, so you focus on the positive, but then ask yourself, and give yourself credit. Give yourself love for the fact that you actually did it. Again, not focus on the outcome. Bhagavad Gita, bro. Yeah. Focus on the process. By the way, I talk about Bhagavad Gita not just to an Indian audience. I talk about it to a Western audience because they didn't hear that.
I've heard that.
You get that. So now from there, what I would say is enjoy that process for the process itself. Then what you would do is minimize time into the next interaction. The more that you just focus on going from interaction to interaction, you're naturally going to get into a flow state and you won't need a technique. Now, if you want me to give you a technique, sure. Here's some techniques. You could say...
Also, right after the technique, I want you to explain what a flow state is and how that feels.
I love that. Okay, because that's the real technique is a flow state.
Yeah.
Now,
right after the technique, we'd get into
which is really your cultural heritage, Bhagavad Gita. Not caring about the outcome, caring about the action itself is the flow state. Yeah. That's why you don't, like, people at home watch this in India don't realize how powerful that heritage is in some cases. Okay? That heritage changed the world. So people need to embrace that and to love that and to realize that your spiritual destiny is to be in that flow state. Now, I'd say that to any Western audience too. I'd say that to any Christian person too. So what I would say is going from there, a couple of ways you could start a conversation. One of my favorites is to imitate somebody. Yeah. Okay? Because everyone is obsessed with themselves. So even if you do an imitation that's not even good, they will think it's 10 out of 10 funny. So like even if I just I go, see how you laugh, right? Like I just go, and you laugh, right? Yeah. See that, right? I just imitate you and you start laughing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, right? It's not even a good imitation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm doing, right? That's an amazing way to start a conversation, imitation, okay?
Yep.
Another one is talk about the dynamics between them. Oh, you have this shirt, Who's the boss here? Who's the leader? Who's the mom? Because they want to talk about themselves, right? Or, you guys are like a little Powerpuff Girls, right? Like, is there anything in India where there's like a famous character where they're kind of like they're very cute and adorable, but a dork? Any like female characters that are cute and adorable and lovable, but a dork?
People love those. People love like things like Shin-chan and Doraemon and everything. If you've seen that, like some Japanese cartoons.
Okay,
they love it. It's like anime.
Yeah, so
like,
you got really Shin-chan.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Yeah, Shin-chan. Yeah.
What's the other one?
Doraemon or something.
Doraemon.
Yeah,
Doraemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doraemon.
Yeah.
Shin-chan.
Yeah.
Shin-chan.
Yeah.
That's a great open. It sounds like a bad open. People at home will hear that. They'll go, no, that can't be a good open. That's a great open. They won't believe it till they try it. Okay?
Yep.
Shin-chan. Right? Then imitate you. Okay?
Yeah.
Then, then I can make a joke. Like, hey, oh, you got the mic here. I like how you had the mic.
Yeah.
The mic. You got the mic right here. Yeah. Talk to the mic. Come on, bro.
I'm trying to.
Come on, Shin-chan. Talk in the mic, Shin-chan.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit of teasing.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think teasing is great. But it should not be mean-spirited. Never mean-spirited. It's fun. Okay? It's fun. It's playful. Yeah. It shows that you're not trying to take something, and it builds trust when you can joke around. Not mean-spirited, but fun teasing. Okay? Yeah. So imitations, teasing. Another one is funny arguments. I love funny arguments, right? Like that jacket. I like that jacket. Maybe a little too orange.
Why?
No, we can't. We're not doing that. That's too much orange. That's just a little too much orange. Okay. Why you got to bring out all that orange? Why you got to bring out that orange, right? And then if you're in a bar or club, everyone's laughing. They're talking about the orange. Something stupid. It's an imitation of an argument. You can imitate they're cheating on you. You're cheating on me, right? Look, this is our first fight. Yeah. Why are we having our first fight? Things like that, right? So it's a lot of teasing, joking. You do a fake marriage. We're going to get married. You get down on your hands and knees. You put a straw on their finger. Yeah. Then you have a divorce. We're having a divorce. Have like a little divorce. Yeah. Then a big one is also introduce them to your friends. Mingle, right? Be like, here, you got to meet my friends. then start introducing them to each other when you're out. Here, you meet this person meet this person, and you create a little hub is great.
Yeah.
Also, have little adventures. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go to this after party. We're going to this restaurant. We're gonna go to this end of the club. And then also, don't just stick in there on the same person. Mingle. Talk to other people. Let them see visibly that you're talking to everybody in the venue. It's easier to go and take over a whole venue and have fun in a whole venue than to talk to one person.
Yeah.
That's what your audience will never understand.
100%.
Until they'll go, oh, that's condescending. Like, I don't even know how to talk to one person, and your advice is to talk to everybody. It's actually easier. Because what happens is that if you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm scared, and then, then you finally go talk to someone. By the time you get them, you've weirded them out because they can tell that you're looking at them.
And then by that time, you've just been looking at them. You've been obsessing with them for like an hour.
Yep.
And that's when you're like, now I'm going to do my approach.
Yeah, someone who you don't even know.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You should be living your fucking life, being your fucking self, enjoying your fucking night, and actually go around the venue, have a lot of fun, have fun with everybody, and you don't need to force a vibe.
Yeah.
You don't need to force chemistry. There's going to be 2 or 3 people in there for sure that you're naturally going to hit it off with, and they're going to go, I love you. This guy's the best. Where have you been my whole life? Right? Like, take myself, okay? I can grow a really insane beard.
Yeah.
80% of people that I'm talking to are like, why the fuck did you do that? But 20% of people, when we go out, are like, dude, you're the man. Girls will be like, oh, I'm obsessed with this. That'll be 20%. But I'm not looking to meet the 80%. I'm looking for the people that want to do business, that want to meet up, that want to have chemistry. I don't care about the people that are like a half in and half out. The secret to life is focusing on the people that like what it is that you have to offer, and then throwing entire parties of people like that. Like when we had the party the other night, those are people that like us, that want to meet us. So the vibe is so good. We could talk more about that later, but I think that's the main thing.
That's the main thing.
I'll give one more technique.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, somebody's walking. Don't just go, hey, and try to interrupt their night. Ask yourself questions like, who are they with? Are they enjoying the people they're with? Where are they going? Are they trying to get somewhere? What is their mood? What is your mood? Right? Things like that. And then what will happen is you'll find the perfect way to start a conversation. If someone's walking, I'm not trying to interrupt their day or like come up behind them and go, hey, like that. I want to be a little bit ahead of them, walking the same direction. And rather than drilling them with boring questions, I make statements.
Yeah.
Look, I can get away with boring questions because I can use tone to make it interesting. Hey, what do you do? Right? You can make it interesting. Right?
Yeah.
You could use your tone to make it different. But assuming that you're not a master of tone, then what you could do is just make statements. I saw this.
Yeah.
You could imitate. You could talk about their dynamic. You could sing. You could literally just start singing. Try that sometime that you go out, just start singing with people.
Yeah.
And then they'll start engaging with you. Now, what you do is you almost want to make it like, let's say that you're thinking of buying a pet at the pet store. You don't necessarily want that pet to like jump all over you right away. Maybe you want to look at the pet through a fishbowl or through the glass and do I like this pet? By making statements, they're not required to respond. They don't have to respond. And as a result of them not having to respond, they can get a sense of your energy.
Yeah.
They can feel you out and see if they like you. So you're giving them a preview of your energy before you demand any kind of response. Then look at their eye contact.
Yeah.
Look at how they're feeling you out. Look at if they like you, and then if they do, then you can say, "Oh, where are you from?" But wait for a second to see if they even want to respond to you.
True. That's nice. You spoke about there's just like one thing. I think you spoke about networking and how in exclusive Lamborghini events you meet all these rich people. So now I've had a very different take of networking, and it's just like I feel I don't understand it properly. Everybody talks about your network is your net worth.
Yes.
The video that you just showed me about that it's coming out soon, and then so my girlfriend. She's very pally with the Lamborghini people in India.
Yeah.
And every event she's invited and I'm invited.
Yeah.
I hate going there. It's the most boring thing I've ever been to. And I just don't go there. Like any Ferrari event, any Lamborghini event.
Yeah.
Because I feel that if I were to, like, for example, it's you and me sitting out here. I could have networked with you like for years. Versus, secondly, I build my own shit. I develop my own personality. I be a cool guy.
Yeah.
And then I have something to offer you. It's just much more better than me networking and just trying to be like, hey, and then I don't have anything to offer.
So what you're saying.
So what's the purpose of networking when I can just do my own shit without having to network with other people and still be where I want to be?
Well, I'll say this. A lot of the best ways to make money is learning how to write a sales ad. Networking, you network with the most rich person in the world, they're not going to write your sales ad for you, right?
But the most rich person in the world doesn't need to network with anybody, correct?
Depends. You know, that's a deep topic.
Yeah.
But the point being is, okay, so I definitely agree with you. There was an old video that I put out called The Truth About Success. And I even said, you know, I've hung out with, say, Tony Shea. He was actually an old client of mine. Tony Shea, the owner of Zappos, which was like the Amazon of for shoes. And like, I've hung out with him a bunch of times and I've coached him. He can't write my sales ad. He can't create my video. He can't teach my course. So what you're saying that I love is that the hard work cannot be done by networking. However, by hanging out with people like Tony Shea, I watched as he built up this whole downtown of Vegas from scratch, and I found that to be very inspiring. So your network is your net worth because, like we say, like Fred Dawson or David R. Hawking says in Levels of Energy or Powers versus Force, whoever you're around, you'll start to resonate at their level. If you have negative friends, you'll tend to become like them because human beings, we're not isolated islands. We're more like a permeable membrane. Yeah. So think about how good you felt after this party. Yeah. If you get around the right people, like when I said that I will make easily $1 million extra revenue by business a year over the course of my later in the business as I make more and more by being friends with you, that is because you helped me to raise the vibe. Yeah. You helped me to raise the vibe. So the people at the Lamborghini party, they might have a good vibe or they may not. If they don't, they may have money. That could be a great one-on-one client. And rather than working with people that are broke, which I love to help broke people as well, I do free events, but it's also nice to have some wealthy clients, so you could meet them there. True. You might be inspired by what they've accomplished, or you might not. They might be the nerdy rich guy stuck in the jail that just wants a golden jail. But they've at least accomplished something, so at least you can learn something from them. So I wouldn't say that that's going to replace you writing a sales ad. It's not going to replace them teaching a program. It's not going to. They can't come here and do our podcast for us. And I think a lot of people overly network because they think that the work will get done if they're just around rich people. Yep. And a lot of people that do too much networking, they wake up 10 years later and they go, I'm around rich people all the time, but I'm not rich. Yeah. So it's a balance.
One thing I've noticed over the years, like you've built one of the biggest followings over the years, right?
One of the most passionate followings.
One of the most passionate, one of the most, like, people that will come out for you. They're like, I'll give you an example. A TikTok influencer or an Instagram influencer could have 1 million followers, and this is real, right? So this one girl posted a story that I'm going to be doing a meetup today. Nobody showed up. 1 million followers. And when you were at the peak, you were at like 100, 150K subscribers. And there was like a huge team of people as passionate as you bringing in their own different things all around the world. The passion was so much that when I started watching you for the first time in 2013, it was always a dream for me to be with you or like just meet up with you. And if I've held on to that dream for 10 and 11 years, that is the amount of passion you injected into it, right? Yeah. How were you able to do that? Is it what you've already spoken about? If it's that, I'll get to the second part of it.
Well, because here's the thing. Okay. They call that vanity metrics, okay? It's like, so I do parties here. Yeah. And I'll have guys that have 10 million followers come to my house. And these guys live in small studio apartments. Yeah. And they go, how do you have a mansion? And I think between all my followings, I have about 500,000. Okay. Which is like a lot, but not really a lot, right? Like it's a lot, but it's not. So there's a very big difference in the quality of the follower. Just because you put a cat on a skateboard, and that gets 100 million views, so people go, oh, that's so cute. They're not going to buy anything from you. So, for example, most of my videos are over 1 hour, and many are several hours, and I love that. And I think there's a place to do shorter videos as well, because you've talked to me about that. You know, they can go more viral, and then some of those people that you went viral with will watch your longer stuff. But I think because I put so much emphasis, and again, I have a lot to learn too, so I'm not saying to just do this, but there's something still to be learned here to an extent. Yeah. So those longer videos, sometimes friends of mine, people that are my friends, will say, hey man, I went to go watch your videos. Because I meet them outside of this. Like these are friends that I make, not from following me online. And they'll say, hey man, I went to watch one of your videos, but bro, it's 3 hours. Like, who has time for this? I go, well, you're not trying to pay me money for my course, bro. Yeah. You're just a guy that I'll see out and say hi to. You're not trying to take my course. So if somebody's about to spend, at minimum a couple $1,000 on a course that I have, they're certainly not going to have a problem with watching a couple hours of videos, right? So I will put out content that's very, very deep and very, very demanding and very, very challenging because I understand that if someone is not going to watch that, they're never going to be a client. Yeah. So I create content to generate high-paying clients who love what I do and think that I can help change their life and think that they can make money from what it is that I'm teaching them. So I'm not looking to just get a random view. I want a quality view. When I go out, I'm not just trying to go, hi to everybody. I'm looking to make quality connections. Yeah. That is my metric, is that someone actually moved. Yeah. Somebody actually connected. Someone actually invested in me. not this, just everyone thinks you're okay and that's it.
True. So over the years, like we've had that going, and like it's pretty clear how you're able to do that, and you've mentioned this multiple times as well. So I think the past 4 or 5 years where you've taken a break from all of this and you've been traveling in nature, you want to spend time with your kids and everything.
Yeah.
And like post lockdown, a lot of other people have come up, and then a lot of clips have come up where they've spoken shit about you, or they've just commented on things about you. And I've never seen you address that. Why is that? Why do you not address it?
Okay, so
because I would love for you to address some of those things.
Yeah.
Because that would make me more like, okay, I can like make me more want to like back up everything, right?
So a couple things is that when you have a high profile, you will have people that don't like what you do, just like what I've talked about here.
Yeah.
So I think that everybody should have the right to speak their truth. If that is what they believe, I don't want to take away their free speech. So that's their free speech. It's their choice to believe what they believe.
Yeah.
Do I wish that every person in the world could love me and they'll name their children after me? Everyone's kid will be named Owen and their daughters will be named Owenette and the whole world will go, Owen, right? And so on and so forth, right? Yeah, that'd be great. That's not reality. We all wish that everybody could love us and think that we're the best and no one would ever say anything bad. But on the other side of not caring if somebody makes a bad video about you, or if you're not a social media influencer, on the other side of not caring that, maybe you talked to someone at the club that you were attracted to and they didn't want to talk to you. On the other side of that is the love of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? On the other side of having people talk shit on you on the internet is you making millions of dollars if you focus on your clients. Now, a client of mine, do they care about my ego and me going, what that guy said, that's not true that I'm not good. I am good. I'm really nice, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm a nice guy. Or do they care that I use every inch of my energy thinking about them? Like I said at the beginning of the video, right? Where we said, where's that person? They're in New Delhi. They're in Mumbai. What are their problems? How can I help them? If I can use 100% of my brain power to help that person at home, and I don't make it about me. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about that end person at home.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the day, they will attend my programs if it's the right person. And so I think over the years, because we've always had a growing business, sometimes I'll see stuff like that. It'll come up in the feed and like 9 times out of 10 or even 99 times out of 100, I'm not going to click it. But once in a while, it's clickbait. I'm like, what the fuck is this, right? And it's a weird thing because I'm like, man, if I hung out with this guy, you know that we'd be friends.
Yeah.
Like, who are you not going to be friends with when you see them in person, right? Like, especially if it's people who like do the same kind of businesses that we do.
Yeah.
You know that if we went out, we're going to have a good time. That's my thing is like why I did this podcast. I like to do podcasts and do things with people that will come out with me.
Yeah.
So like those guys have an open invite to come out with me anytime they want. I love going out. I love to have fun. And I know that if we had fun together, we'd like each other. So why make a fake fight, which is not who we are?
Yeah.
What do we learn in spiritual growth, right? That same divine energy that animates me, animates you, and even animates what you would technically, or not even reality, but technically call your competitors or enemies, right? So you are them. There's that energy of life. When you identify with that energy of life, that's in them. Now, maybe they're confused and they're a little bit more in their ego and they don't know what they're doing. Or maybe they do know what they're doing and they just have a personal preference and want to voice it. That's their freedom of speech. Let them have that. And my goal was always, I wanted to prove that we could be the market leader and do the highest amount of revenue. So I've done over $100 million of sales in my life. I didn't keep that, but I've driven that in sales, okay, from a little YouTube channel. And my goal was to prove that you don't have to engage in the drama. You could be above the drama, wish them the best, and even help them if they ask. Like, hey brother, if you need help, I'll help you. Right? In Christian philosophy, they say, help your enemy. If somebody was mean to you, go help them. So my goal is just to help people and to just get the word out.
Yeah.
And I understand there's a lot of different ways to live life, right? Like reputation management, giving your take on it. But I don't know, bro. Okay, it's like this. Say that I say to you right now, are you a trustworthy person? What are you going to say?
I mean, I'll say yeah.
Yeah, but what if you're not trustworthy? What are you going to say anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like whatever I'm going to say about like the gossip about me, it's like, I'm good though. But of course I'm going to say that.
No one's going to trust you.
So everybody knows that you can't take that seriously.
Yeah.
So all that I can do is show my actions. And if my actions are focused on just like free events, free videos, free groups, free Zooms, millions of dollars spent put back in the community, that's where I can put my focus. And then if I've got time to be making a response video to somebody, I've got time, I should use that extra time for a client. Like if I'm going to take an hour and say, this guy said this, but I am good. if I'm going to do that, I should take that hour and spend it with my fucking son.
Yeah.
I should spend that with you, my friend. I should spend that with a client who paid me. I should spend that to make a free video. So if you just live your whole life like that and say that you are going to add value, that to me is the secret to life. That was a weird choice that I made. Yeah. Some people confuses, some people get it, and that's okay. But, you know, you saw with like, say, and here's another point too. I'm also not going to win that kind of a dispute because I'm not built like that, bro. I'm not built. I don't like to argue. I'm a lover, bro. I like to love people, you know? So like, you know, if someone was mean to me and I'm like, well, you suck too, but like, I don't think they suck.
Yeah.
I don't wish bad on them. I want them to succeed. So like J. Cole, he was kind of in that beef with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. And he tried to make a diss album to Kendrick, but it wasn't even good. He's like, your last album wasn't that good. Yeah. And he's like, it's not even a good diss album. I wouldn't be good at making a diss track, bro. Yeah. You know, right? I'm like, let's go out. Let's go hiking. Yeah. If someone wants to go hiking, I'm good at that. If someone wants to go out, I'm good at that. If someone wants to argue, I don't like to argue. Yeah. The main reason I break up with girls is because they like to argue. Yeah. So
but
I just want to have fun.
You could clarify, no? Like I'm not saying this. So I've done 2 reaction videos, but I'm just laughing all the time.
That could be fun.
Yeah. I'm just laughing and I'm like, you know, actually this is not what I meant. This is what I meant. And then sometimes it's like I do fuck up. Yeah. And I'm like, I fucked up there. I'm gonna edit that part in the video.
Okay. Well, I'll clarify one thing right now. You ready? Okay. So for many years, I always said that if I was ever in a wheelchair, that I would still go out and I'd still crush it. Yep. And everybody said I was lying. Well, guess what, motherfucker? I was in a wheelchair for 4 months. I still killed it. Still had fun. I got on video. So that's my response. Okay. So I finally responded. You got me to respond.
Yeah. Perfect. So now, I mean, you're 44. You've got like 3 kids. You've been at the top of the game and you were getting even up there. And then we got, and then a lot of shit happened. Then the lockdown happened. And then now 4 years down, things starting to like sort of look good. What are your future plans? Now, what are we going to see? What do you want to do?
So I have this philosophy that, I'm going to say something again, very controversial. It's not going to resonate with most people, but make most people angry, okay? I believe that being a good father doesn't just mean that you pay the bills. This is going to piss a lot of people off, okay? There's people who are going to hear this, going to really offend them, okay? I never want to be the kind of father where I just pay the bills and I'm like, I'm a great dad. You always had 3 meals on the table. Yep. You always had a nice school. Like, no, I want to actually, like, you will never get back those years with your children, okay? Yeah. So my goal with my kids was I wanted to take them around the world, take them into airplanes, take them into nature. A lot of my time that I spend now from age 40 to 45, I'm going to be 45 soon, is me in the mountains with my children, in the rainforest with my children, like us just playing, having fun. And I'll shoot videos when I'm out there, and I'll come do trainings from time to time because that's fun. And I'll actually bring my kids to the trainings, and I'll show them how I do the trainings, and I'll bring them up on stage. But I want to be a father right now, okay? So now that my kids are getting old enough that they probably don't need that as much, then I'm a little bit more open-minded to go back to work. But what I believe every man should do is from age 20 to age 40, you have 20 years to make your first couple $1 million bucks. You got 20 fucking years, okay? I remember what my friend Ty Lopez said, learn faster, motherfucker, right? Like, how do I live in this small town and get better social skills? You don't. I mean, you can somewhat, but you know my point, right? How do I get jacked in the gym if I don't have a gym here? Well, you know, do some push-ups, whatever, right? Yeah. But, you know, you don't have a gym. Well, in the same way with money, like, get your money shit handled so that you can be a better father, so that you can spend time with your children. And what you should do is go do a retirement from age 40 to about 45. Do every bucket list item that you want to do. Go everywhere you want to go. Do every dream that you have. Spend that time with your kids. And then maybe by 45, maybe you want to go back to work. So, you know, I'm sitting here. I was in that wheelchair for 4 months. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, I might be open-minded going back to work. So I'm open-minded to going back to work. Yeah. But if I were to go back to work now and I'm leaning towards it, it would be for legacy, not for money. Yeah. So for me, what it would be is, what kind of impact do I want to make? And whether that's to a small group of people, to a big group of people, maybe I'll do big, maybe I'll do small, but I'll tell you what I will do. I will feel inside myself of what lights me up and what gives me passion, and I will do that. And that is why there's kind of different ways that you could live life. And one could be, I hate my life, I'm miserable, I need money, I need. And you stay inside the golden jail. Yep. Breaking out of the jail, to me, is being truly yourself, which then would be step one. Be truly yourself, not the self of the dude getting the photo with the white chick, right? Yeah. But the real you, okay? Yeah. Not the one that's some panderer. Yeah. The real you, okay? From there, step 2 is let that energize you, because all that mental bandwidth, like you're burning so much mental and spiritual energy by being fake, that what happens is it just kills you. It sucks the life out of you, right? I've been sick in 13 years. Why? Because I don't have the life being sucked out of me, okay? Then from there, you have all that energy. Use that energy to find what you're passionate about and make a couple $1,000,000. Make your first 4 or 5 million by age 40. You don't need to make 100 million by 40, but you can at least make 2 or 3 mil, maybe make 4 or 5 mil. Like have enough that you don't have to work anymore. You're working by choice. Ideally make more than that, but at least make that. Now you can spend time with your kids, go travel around, do all your bucket list items, and then when you come back, maybe mid-40s, maybe you got 15, 20 years of work left, what do you really want to do? And the cool thing about that too is that, and this, I'm going to say something a little bit darker, but I actually think it's very beautiful because I believe this is part of Christian tradition, right? So when Jesus dies in the Bible, okay, what you see is that through his death, and he doesn't compromise himself, is actually the resurrection of the soul, okay? So by allowing that death of the ego and the physical body, we have the birth of the soul. So I really think that real, like strong, powerful men, they should make their money, raise their kids, and then once they've raised their kids, they come back and they go do something for social good, but they should pick things for social good that maybe could be viewed as bad, but is good. Okay, because really in the world, we have what I'd like to call a pimp hole relationship between the elites and the masses. The elites are keeping the masses asleep, and they're controlling the media. And what winds up happening is, like, the pimp is evil, but what the hoe is doing is evil. What the pimp is doing is evil. They're both making money, but neither are happy. I've coached the elites, bro. I've coached these guys. Most are some of the most unhappy people that you've ever seen. Okay, and so the elites, they produce things like bad food, poisons, things that put people to sleep, fucked up education systems. They control the media and so on and so forth. And then the masses are asleep and they eat it up. And all that the masses want is diversion, to stay on autopilot, and to be told what to do and have some false sense of identity. And they're basically being trolled, and they're ultimately trolling each other. And so what I think coming back into your older age is that you have to let go of your fear of death. Know that if you really try to add value to the world, that you will be put in a negative light. You could get shot. You could get killed. I mean, look at Gandhi, for example, right? Think of the amount of courage that he has to have to go do what it is that he did, right? But there's certain things in life, and I'm not saying I'm Gandhi and by any means, okay? I'm just some guy. But I'm just making the point that we all have that little piece of us in there where if every man in the world could focus on just getting a couple $1,000,000, getting a beautiful, beautiful woman to have, and beautiful to you, whatever beauty is to you, intellectually, spiritually, to you, have your children, raise them, show them the world, have some money saved for them, and then you could use your older age to do something that maybe would be against that pimp-ho dynamic, against the system that puts everybody to sleep. And even if you got shot, you got killed, you got put in a bad light, they distort your words, they put you in a way that you're not, but you could actually go do that. And you could go to your death in the same way that Jesus did. You could go to your death knowing that they can kill your body, but they can't kill your soul. And why walk around from age 65 to 80? You're all old. And, like, what are you really going to accomplish doing that when you could actually do something good with that towards the end of your life? Look, back in the day, if there was a war, like to go fight Hitler, people would line up to go fight Hitler. But these days, people are so comfortable, and they're not growing into that. I think part of growing into your real power as a man is saying, I'm going to try to determine what the right thing is. And part of me being in nature for 4 or 5 years was me thinking about, what is my legacy going to be? What am I going to go do with my older age? What does it mean to really do something that's good? What does it mean to do? Like, one of the best things you could ask somebody is, what is the one opinion that you have that would get you in trouble, but you believe that if the world knew it, the world would be a better place? And we need to move the world in a place where we can make that an acceptable conversation. And if what the person thinks is stupid, then have a conversation about it. That's what the First Amendment's for, right? Do you guys have a First Amendment in India? Freedom of speech?
Yeah, I guess.
Can the government put you in jail for speech?
If it's inciting religious hatred and there's like mobs and violence it creates, then yes.
Got
it. If it's dissent and everything, yeah, for sure.
Got it.
Or if you're talking about like a civil war, or if you're talking about I want my own state, then it's pretty...
Well, I'll say this. In America, the idea of the First Amendment is that we can have a discussion. Okay, we treat each other as adults and we can have a discussion. And we don't view everybody as some idiot who can't have a discussion. And so
I think discussions are there, but you can't go up there and give a speech to like 100 people and then incite a mob. So you can have a discussion.
Yeah, telling people to hurt each other.
Okay,
so that's different, right?
That's different.
But what I would say is that you want to have it to where you can have an adult conversation, not about hurting each other, but about how to make the world better. And so the thing is that like not living in a nanny state where you're treated as a child. And the thing is that we have to start having these kind of conversations about what's going to move society forward. Look, artificial intelligence is coming.
True.
All these crazy social changes are coming.
OnlyFans is picked up. That's crazy.
I get what you're saying. So the point that I'm making is that part of being an adult is like, maybe go get shot.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know that sounds fucked up. Maybe go get shot. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to make the world better, there's a reason why Jesus gets crucified. Because there was evil in the world and he spoke out against that. There's a reason why Gandhi, what happened to him happened to him. There's a reason why Nelson Mandela was put in jail.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we as adults need to be, when I was for 5 years in the mountains, I lived all my dreams.
Yeah.
I did what I wanted to do. Like I've taken that time to raise my family, to do what it is that I want to do. I've lived my life, bro.
Yeah.
You know, we say learn faster. Live your life faster.
Yeah.
Do I need to just work some shitty job where I wake up, go to some boring drive, some job that I hate, come back and just try to stretch that out? Or should I get back to being me, do what I love, make the money, go, have parties like what we did, great dating life, knock all those bucket list items off of a fun dating life, fun social life, leave your intellectual legacy. Like for 5 years, I went in nature. And I just sat there in nature and just created video content that's not even out yet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not me doing a money play. A money play would be me trying to get out quickly.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be in nature, and I don't want to say talk to God like, hello, God, and God's like, how are you? I don't do that at all. But God speaks to us, in my view, to everyone, not me, not you, but everyone. Okay, it's not unique. We don't have anything that anybody else does now. We're humans, right? Everyone's a human. But God speaks to us by, if we get into nature and we calm our mind, and we're truly ourselves, and we have true gratitude, and we really take in nature, okay? Not this fake reality of the hamster reality of society, and we take that in.
Yep.
And you'll just notice that your thoughts go in all these expansive, beautiful directions, and you start to find the answer to some of humanity's greatest problems.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that you then have a desire to curate that and to spread that and to leave that legacy, right? Like, we can't live forever, but we do live in a way through our children. My sons, Vincent, Dylan, and Tristan, and whatever kids I don't know about, and that may turn up someday, and whatever kids I'll have in the future, like that is a legacy that I have. I want to make sure that they were raised properly, really, really, really well. I never yell at my kids. I always love my kids. Know that they're loved, they're accepted no matter what. We have fun together. We go have adventures together. We do really hard nature adventures together that are really, really tough, like really tough, like really scary, really tough stuff. We're hiking up glaciers in Alaska. We're hiking along the cliffs in Hawaii. We're out in, like hiking through Navajo Nation in like Indian territory that we have permission and respectfully are visiting, and overnight hikes, and there's rattlesnakes everywhere. And this is what I'm doing with my children. We're having a beautiful time. And go do that. Raise your family, raise your children, and meet all your life's needs by your mid-40s. And then once you've done that, you're like, look, I've lived my life. This world has nothing for me anymore. But what do I have for the world now? What do I have for the world? And because once the world no longer has anything for you, you can still enjoy it a little bit. We had a fun little party. It was fun.
Yeah.
But as much as it's fun to have the party that we had and to celebrate life, and I love that, as you get older, it's what do I have for the world? And even if it's misunderstood, but again, coming back on that theme of being truly yourself, what do I have for the world? And sometimes I'll read business books, like maybe guys who I like a lot, like maybe Alex Ramosi or guys like that. I like a lot.
I've been following him a lot.
It's awesome, right? And I love that. And he's helping millions of people.
Yes.
But I'd also say that sometimes I look at that and I just start thinking like revenue, this and that. And that's amazing. But make enough money that all your needs are met. And then you start to, and you should be really living the whole way there. But then you can really just say, what do I have for the world? And maybe say that thing that could be a little bit ahead of its time or misunderstood, and really sticking up for things. I remember when COVID happened, I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever fucking seen, the reaction to it. And my staff was afraid. My friends were afraid. People didn't want to be near me. People didn't want to be associated to me.
I was chilling. I almost never wore a mask.
Yeah, bro. I mean, COVID is a real disease, but the reaction to it, the way that they exploited that to do a lot of evil things, that was something that from day one I said, there's things that I understand because I've got friends inside the government because I teach, right? So I have fans everywhere. I've got friends inside government. I'm hearing a lot of things from the inside, and I'm just like, no, I'm going to speak. And so we speak to the extent that we can. There's obviously limitations because some of these places that we talk on are kind of fucked up, but we speak whatever we can speak. We do the best we can. I think once you go get what the world has for you, have urgency about getting it. Also think about how to add value to others, but then think about what you have for the world. And nothing that we can get. Like, bro, what are we gonna do with money right now?
Yeah.
Go get a massage. Go get a watch. Go to a party. That's amazing. But
Yeah.
nothing will give us more satisfaction than what do we have for the world? Because that is truly living. Now, I'm not gonna say if you got someone watching this who's 22, they've got to actually learn about. They should probably watch Alex Hormozi. Maybe watch some of my old school social skills stuff. Your social skills stuff.
Yep.
They should do that. But once you've lived your life, and you're at that point where you're like, okay, like, wow, look at thank you, God. This is so beautiful. I think that when you go to God and you say, look, like, I'm here to serve, and you actually say that, what'll wind up happening is you get things that money can't buy. What I love are things that money can't buy. Real, genuine friendship. You can't buy a friend. You can't buy a real friend. Real attraction. This is why I don't care about money when it comes to gaining attraction with women. I want someone attracted to me. Okay, someone who loves you for real. Having children, creating art, being in nature, even having a pet. Humans, you know what's beautiful about humans? We have pets, right? You guys, cows in India, we have pets. Okay, so it's like...
We got dogs as well.
Dogs, right? So the thing is, like, we don't have to have a pet. But we could love our pet. We don't have to have a friend. We could just be transactional all the time.
True.
But we can choose to give real friendship to another person. I don't ever have to love a woman, but I can choose to love a woman. I can just date and have fun, but I can also have fun to really love a woman. So, I don't have to have children, but the act of creation itself connects you to your creator and connects you. Remember, we said it's not about the result. It's about the action itself. And we can never find the infinite in breadth, because even if you live to be 150 years, it's too short. Look, I'm 44. Life went by like that. Your life's going to go by. You're never going to stretch it like 200 years, 300 years. Look, even a 500-year life is not enough. It's all too short. Life goes by too quick. But we can find the infinite in the depth. We can find that one little moment where we find the infinite in that moment. Hanging out with a friend, being with your children, being really in love with somebody, being out in nature, maybe having fun in the city, just a great dinner with friends in the city. But we can find that. So our job, in my view, is to find these beautiful moments and allow that to infuse us and to grow our souls. And I believe that when our bodies die, our soul might have grown bigger or our soul might have shrunk. And you'll see some people where the soul shrinks so much, there's nothing left. And we see that in homeless people. So sad. Not all homeless people, by the way, but in some cases. And, your soul can grow and grow, and your joy grows, and your ability to contribute grows. And it's not just about maybe giving money, but it could be about something so deeply unique to you that nobody else could give that. Nobody else. Because even this talk that we did here, that I can teach step by step social skills, dating, all that stuff. And I've done it for decades. But I say to myself, you're already so good at that, bro.
I know.
Why do they just have to hear, why do they need to get another guy to say the same thing? Right? But I want to show something from my perspective that someone couldn't get somewhere else. And they get a different version of it maybe, but my unique version. And I want them to, and I'm not trying to get that to everyone who isn't ready to hear it, but for that one person who's ready to hear it, who wants to get rich quicker, wants to be better at social skills or dating or things like that quicker, but then wants to do that not just to take, but so they can grow their soul and to give and to live a more passionate life, not to be in apathy, but to live a passionate life and to do it in a way where it's not just some little trick to get a result, but to do it to get more in touch with themselves. When you're out there, when me and you are out there like this weekend or having the party here, we're aligned to ourselves. That's what I love about this art form, is that it helps people to be aligned to themselves. And then take that alignment that you learn through this. And like the thing that kills me, bro, it kills me, it hurts me, is that you're not just here a little bit longer. Because if you were here a bit longer here in LA, we did a baller party, we went out, we had fun, right? Me and you would go to Sequoia National Park like tomorrow, okay? I'm going to take a beautiful, beautiful woman to Catalina Island tomorrow. But if you weren't leaving and I wasn't going with her, you and I'd rather go with you, bro. Okay? I would take you. We would go to Sequoia National Park. The biggest tree in the entire world called the General Sherman is there. And you and I would just kick we'd joke in the car. And the windows would be open and we'd be talking shit and we'd be listening to music. And we go hiking, way up into the Sequoia Grove. And we would just sit there and marvel at God's creation. And then maybe we go do a little bit of skiing, right? Just blasting down a mountain.
Again?
Yeah, we could do it again.
Skiing again?
I've never lived in fear, bro. Okay? I look forward to my death. I'm not afraid of my death. Okay? I'm here to serve. But when God is ready for me not to serve, I'm looking forward to the next step. So all of us, our souls yearn the next level past this life. So, I'd go get my kids. My kids would be joking around. My kids are crazy. They'd be having fun. You know, then maybe we'd go out to the club, maybe meet some girls. We'd have fun with them. Maybe do a party on the beach. Like, that's living, bro.
Yeah.
And then we record it, make some content out of it, and then do some social media, make millions of dollars, help the world, and life is great. That, to me, is living life.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I'm fucking passionate about. That's what I want to see. Not some little creeper who's like, I just need a little hole. Give me a little hole to push into. It's like, come on, bro. There's more to life. And I'll help you with that. But there's more to fucking life. So, you know, and I want to break them out of that. There's a parasite that eats the person's soul. It's eating it like acid. You've got to wash that off. You've got to cleanse that off and allow them to get back to base level consciousness. Allow them to connect their creator. And again, that's your culture too, bro. Yeah. That's a great part of Christian culture, but that's a great part of Indian culture. And every single proud person, man, woman, and child from India with burning pride in their heart for their country and their culture should feel back into that beautiful message that I share here in the West. Feel into that beautiful message, okay? Feel into that and see that message. And really looking at any of the great spiritual traditions, whether it's the Tao Te Ching and especially the Bible, even someone from India who is not a Christian can learn from Jesus and see that message as well. Not get hung up in the story of it, but see the more powerful story of that, of what is trying to be exhibited to us. That's really living life. Definitely. And a lot of marketers are not, and you're such a positive person, I know that you live this, but so many marketers will not embrace this because they can't monetize it. It's not about monetizing it, it's about making money while spreading consciousness, while helping to dissolve that parasite. Because bro, let me tell you another thing. All this other shit is rearranging deck chairs in the fucking Titanic. We've already seen 2020. We've seen lockdown. We know that AI is coming. We know that there's all this chaos is coming. We need a jump in consciousness fucking now. We need a human awakening project. Yeah. Do you understand? We need a human awakening. Look at me. We need a human awakening project. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Yeah. We need a human awakening project. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Yeah. We need a human awakening project. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Yeah. We need that because what's going to happen is we can all go make our money, get laid, have fun. But if we don't wake up, there's too many ways to kill each other now. Yeah. One fucking button and everybody's dead. Do you understand? For the wrong person having it. Yeah. We need a human awakening project. So humanity needs to have a leap in consciousness, okay? Let me tell you something, and I'm not saying this as a guru. I'm saying this to invite anybody to explore this. I don't get sick. I don't get in bad moods. I mean, a touch here or there, but honestly, I don't. I love my life. I don't hate anybody. You ask me why I don't shit talk other people that shit talk me. I don't hate them, bro. I want to give them a hug. I don't hate them. I'm down to hear their feedback even. I don't hate them. I want people to connect and to get together. So people need to recognize that little shred from God that animates them is in me, it's in you, it's in everybody. We've got to embrace our tradition and our heritage and feel that swelling pride in our hearts. But then we also have to bring that into the new and next era that we're moving into, which is going to be very different. We can't predict it exactly what it will look like, but we can guess. But we have to find those powerful values that we've lost in this TikTok fucking drug-infested world. And we have to bring that into future generations. And that's why I'm so passionate. That's why even when you ask me for a technique, I'm like, look, I'll show the technique, but we not have to just make a golden gel. Because, bro, the golden gel is about to get fucking filled with gas and kill everybody. We have to break out of the gel, and humanity has to go to the next level. Like how Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. But there was a powerful movie called Ad Astra where people were going into space. You know what they realized? It's about the people that are back here at home. We've got a beautiful planet. We've got a beautiful planet right here. Humanity is beautiful. Be proud to be human. Be proud of your heritage. And realize your potential that you don't even know you fucking have. We need a human awakening project. Yeah. We need a quantum leap. We need to go to the next level. So we can teach and share, but that should just be bait to get people to take initial action as like you know, almost like the intro drug. Yeah. But the real thing that people need is for us to hit the next level. True.
Yeah. That was amazing, bro. Sweet. I mean, thank you for doing this. I think this was epic. We cranked out 2 hours of podcast.
And by quick.
I think it was epic. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Thanks.